Hello and welcome to Marvel Vision, a Marvel Studios TV show podcast brought to you by Cinema Sangha. This week we're going to be talking about the penultimate episode of Peacemaker. We're going to find out what happens to everybody on Earth X, or I guess in this case just Earth Nazi. And we're going to have our ideas about what might be going on next episode as the show finishes out. My name is Devin Faraci. I am one of the hosts of this program. Joining me, as he traditionally does,
my name is Derek Faraci. My uncle was on cops a bunch of times. He got no residuals, though. He's poor. How are you, Devin?
I am okay. How is life going on over there?
It's all right. It's okay. No complaints. No issues.
Been watching a couple of horror movies, as you do in October. I try not to be one of these, horror movie October guys. I don't like that. But I haven't been watching a lot of horror movies this year. And so I was like, well, fuck it. Reason for the season, right?
Yeah.
So I saw the new Toxic Avenger.
It's good. I like that one.
I liked it.
Funny.
We should have done it on WATCHMEN.
I told you that.
Did you?
Yeah.
I think I didn't want to go to the movie theater at the time.
Yeah. Well, because I said I saw it opening weekend, and I came back to you and I said, we should do this. It's a superhero movie. And you're like, yeah, maybe. And then that was it.
Well, I think
we still can at some point.
I think we definitely can. But I think I intended to go see it. I never got around to it. And so I think that's why I said, yeah, maybe. I think if I had gone to see it, I would have come back with a, yes, let's do this. But because I didn't go see it, I kind of forgot that it existed largely. But more interestingly, and I kind of want to write about this, but I'll talk about it here because I probably won't get around to writing about it. I watched a movie called Cemetery of Terror. And Cemetery of Terror is a Mexican horror movie from the 1980s. It's shot in Texas, and it is, I would say, I don't know, I want to say it's good, right? That's not a word I'm want to use here. I enjoyed the hell out of it. It is about a group of the most despicable medical students you can imagine, who all they do is play tricks on the girls they're trying to sleep with. It's all they do. And one of the ways that they want to play a trick on the girls they want to sleep with is they steal a dead body from the morgue and take it to the cemetery to do a satanic ceremony with it. The thing is, the body they steal in the opening of the film is a serial killer who's killed 17 people. He's a giant big guy, and he kills people with his fingernails. So he just rips holes in them. He just punches
oranges,
Well, he'll slash across your neck or your face, or later on in the movie, he shoves his hand into somebody's stomach and pulls their guts out. His name is Devlin. Devlon, actually. It's Devlon. And
I thought maybe it was Dean Devlin.
And it turns out that he's a devil. And he gets killed in the cold open of the movie. And the kids go and they take his corpse and they accidentally reanimate it in the cemetery. And as it goes, they go back to this abandoned house where they're hanging out, and he follows them there, and he begins killing them off one by one, like standard slasher stuff. Except one guy he kills with telekinetics. Nobody else gets it like this. The guy has an axe. He's going after the killer with an axe that it's like a medieval axe that was on the wall of the house, and he's ends up with the axe coming at his face, and he has to hold it off, and then he lets go, and it's hanging there in the air, and then it fucking cuts his head in half.
Sweet.
But they all get killed, and there's 40 minutes left to the movie, and so I was like, wait, what? So let me tell you. The last act of the movie, a bunch of children end up in the cemetery, and they spend an extraordinary amount of time being hunted by the killer, and also dead bodies start crawling out of graves all over the place. And there's just a lengthy zombie chase sequence in the cemetery, and it's but it's fun. The zombies will they don't just come out of the grave, their tombstones explode, and then there's red light coming up. And they have
so they're coming out of the depths of hell,
I guess. So I mean, I'm kind of spoiling it by saying that, because when that started happening in the movie, I was like, what the fuck? Because you have watched now an hour and 10 minutes of this film, and all of a sudden there's zombies in it, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And then the kids get menaced by the zombies for a while. I will say this picture has some of the most astonishing padding I've ever seen in a movie. I don't know if I've ever seen padding this incredible. There is a moment where the kids go to the cemetery, right? And they're young kids. And the movie takes place on Halloween. And they have their little Halloween buckets. So they go to the cemetery. There's a camera that's like across the street shooting at a distance towards them. And they go inside the gates of the cemetery. They have a conversation about the gates being open. And then they start lighting candles to put in their little things. And you watch every single second of it. Like it just keeps going. And then they begin walking away from the camera and continuing to have a conversation. And it just keeps going. And it's got to be a minute and a half of this, like, camera very far away, these little kids, and it is just nothing happening. And it happens a couple of times. There's one point where the medical students are going to go jet skiing. The camera's far away, and they walk down a dock. And there's a certain point where you're like, oh, we're going to watch them walk down this whole dock. Like, we're not cutting away. We are not, like, changing the angle. We are just here watching these people from a great distance. I feel like the director was shooting coverage. Yeah. Like, he was like, okay, I'll have this I can cut to. And then he just never either shot anything else or just in editing was like, fuck it, just run the whole thing right there. Like, it was amazing. Incredible.
We paid for this footage, we're using all of it.
Exactly. I really enjoyed the movie. It is very, it's like kind of crummy. Hugo Stiglitz is in it. You may remember Quentin Tarantino named a character after him in Inglourious Bastards. So that's how you know there's some quality happening here. And it's Mexican, which means it's like a little more prudish than like a standard slasher. The gore is there. Like, there's like blood and stuff. But when the kids are like making out, they're like in their sweaters. Like, which like, and it's like 1983 or something like that. So you're like, okay, this is America. There's no way these kids are in their sweaters. Like, there's just no chance. But like, you know, also the zombies in this movie are repulsed by crucifixes.
That's interesting.
Never seen it before. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Have I?
Zombies? Not that I can think of.
Yeah, there must be. Might be a different one, but again, it's the Mexican Catholic thing, right? So
yeah.
But I quite enjoyed it, and it's really hard to find. But if you do find it, I can recommend it to you. I would believe that this would be a nice thing to watch.
There you go. Go watch that, everybody.
Are you doing Halloween movies?
I've not watched any. No.
Do you do that? Do you like watch horror movies in October?
If I'm in the mood for one, sure. But I'm not, I'm not going to hunt down and be like, I got to watch a horror movie every day. It's October.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing that, but I haven't been watching horror movies for a minute. And I was like, you know what? Like, this is an opportunity to return myself to my basics. I haven't been watching as many movies as I should in general. So, what are you looking at?
I can't understand a word you're saying.
Am I robotic again?
You were, and now it's getting better.
Oh, boy. This is the exciting stuff that happens here on Marvel Vision.
I was trying to not bring it up, but I know you were asking me something. I was like, I can't respond.
I'm okay now?
Yes.
I want to let everybody at home know that Derek bullied me before this podcast began because of my t-shirt.
Yep.
And I have this very cool t-shirt of my favorite superhero, Nightwing. Dick Grayson, the original Robin, grows up to be Nightwing. I consider myself something of a dickhead, and that's like my fandom. And Derek made fun of me for having this shirt.
I don't think that's what the fans call themselves.
I think they should 100% call themselves dickheads.
They wanted to. Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you mock me mercilessly for my t-shirt?
Because you've read 40 issues of a character who's been around for 4 decades. And you're like, this is my new favorite character of all time. I'm going to buy toys and t-shirts and all this.
What do you mean buy toys?
You bought a Nightwing action figure.
I don't think that's true.
I know it's true.
I don't think that's true at all. That doesn't seem at all like something that I would do. There's no chance that this actually happened. So... Yeah. See, if you're not watching the YouTube, you're missing out.
You're missing out on all the action.
On my Disco Nightwing toy.
Yeah.
See, I bought that at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I think it's really, I'm going to be 9 years sober soon, very soon. And I'm assuming I make it the final days, right? God willing. But, like, you don't need to be drunk or high to buy stupid shit off the internet at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I could have told you that.
And you don't need to be drunk or high to have a box delivered to your house and go, what the fuck is this? And then open it up and go, oh my God, I bought this, didn't I? Like this, you don't have to be loaded. This was the thing I used to do, loaded all the time. I'm still doing it while I'm sober. So
yeah, it's very easy to do, especially with Kickstarter. It's very easy because you order something, you give to the Kickstarter, and then 2 years later you get something and you're like, I don't know. I guess I ordered this. I don't know.
My problem with Kickstarter is that it takes so long to fulfill. Like, it takes years sometimes. That, like, am I going to be living here? Am I going to remember to update my mailing address with the fucking
I had
Kickstarter?
to, once for a Kickstarter thing, I had to send them a new address. And it was the second round of MST Kickstarter. And I moved before they sent everything out. And I was like, hey, I moved. I wasn't planning to move when I ordered, when I put money into the Kickstarter, but I moved. And they were like, just send us your address. We'll make sure it all gets to you. And they did. It was very simple. So I appreciate it.
But you got to remember that you had the Kickstarter.
Yes.
That's the problem, right? Like, you just may not remember you have the Kickstarter.
Yeah. I mean, the other day I got an email about a Kickstarter. And I'm not going to say whose Kickstarter it is because they are a well-known comic creator, but it was like, hey, we're gonna be shipping out stuff soon, and I was like, I gave to this. It was like 4 years ago.
Why would you not say this is not secret knowledge?
Because I don't want to put them on blast. They're a nice enough person as far as I know, and I don't think it's their fault. Why
would it not be their fault?
Because it's a collection of an old comic that's been done for a while, and I think it's the company that went to him and was like, hey, we want to do a Kickstarter, put out like a collection of it. I think it's them that they've been slow on it. That's my guess. But who knows? But it's been like 4 years.
I've avoided the Kickstarter thing, like not doing one, because it just feels like, I'm understanding too, I know some people did Kickstarters and they overpromised rewards.
Oh, sure.
They made no money.
Yeah.
They made no money, and they lost money, in fact, on some of them. And that just seems crazy to me because, like, that just seems nuts. Like, I don't. But I'm going to tell you something. Speaking of losing money, you know what I was looking at last night and I did not buy at 1 o'clock in the morning?
What?
Customizable challenge coins.
Well, like the Cash, what's his face?
Patel, yeah.
Yeah.
But they're coins. They usually look like coins. They don't usually look like the Punisher head. I have the challenge coin.
Teeth of guns. He's got spiders in his eyes.
Jon Favreau does a challenge coin on all his productions, and I got the challenge coin for Iron Man 2 when I visited the set. And I've kind of enjoyed the challenge coin thing ever since. I always look for them at antique shops and shit. But it turns out you can just make your own challenge coin. And sure. I was like, would this be an interesting merch idea? To do a challenge coin.
I mean, can you make one at a time?
I think you got to make like 10 at a time or something like that.
Well, then no, it's not an interesting merch idea.
I mean, it is though. I'm looking into it. Like, it's at the end of the day, like, does it make sense to cough up money to make some challenge coins, right? Have them. I mean, it's like 10 of them. They're just sitting in my house. They're not that big, right? But then if they don't sell, like, what a cool thing to give to people. Like, what if, like, you run into me in the street and you're like, Devin, love the podcast. And I go, here's your challenge coin. That'd be pretty cool, right?
I guess.
I think that's neat.
Yeah.
The folks at home, let us know. What do you think about a challenge coin? It's not cheap. But it's not crazy. You know what I mean? Like, they cost, I mean, like, the one I was looking at, it costs per item like $8.50 to make.
Okay.
So you can price that at a not crazy amount that still earns you a profit.
But it's a question of how many do you have to order?
I mean, I think they turn around in 3 days.
No, it's not. Not how quickly. Like things like that. It's usually like, okay, it's $8.50, but you have to order 100 of them, like that kind of deal.
No, you got to 25 is the lowest amount.
All right, that's a lot.
I mean, it's not a lot, but it's not a lot. Like, it's a reasonable lot. It gets a lot cheaper. Yeah, I mean, so if I were to order 25, right?
Yeah.
They're $8.91 a pop. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. I actually was doing this last
It's
night.
$222.75.
At 75 cents. That's my calculator right there. That's not crazy. Like that's not like I'm not like looking to spend $200 on stuff. But like if I believe like as a merch item, like it can be fun and cool, then like, you know, maybe it's a thing to look into. If I do 100, they're much cheaper. They're $370, but that's still going to cost me $300. But that's still $300. It's $75 more than 25, and I'm getting 4 times. I'm getting 100 as opposed to 25.
Yes.
So anyway, I've been looking into
That's the math quarter.
I've been looking into a bunch of make your own merch stuff. That's not Pietra.
Yeah.
I've been looking into it. Yeah. I mean, I'm just bored. Like I'm just like. What happens is I'm writing something and I just like need to take a break. The problem is if I go off to social media, I go off forever. And so what I've been doing is creating these little side quests where I'm like, let me look this up. Let me find out about this. And then when I feel like refreshed enough to go back to writing, I can do it. Today I wrote about Dionysus. Dionysus?
I think it's Dionysus, isn't it?
Well, and his dildo.
Okay.
Did you read this one today?
No.
It's pretty great. I'm actually really proud of it. Yeah. So.
This is your Sunday service?
Sunday, yes, Sunday service. Every Sunday I write about religion. And this week it's about the Greek mystery cults that surrounded some of the gods. And specifically Dionysus and about this story. I mean, do you want to hear the story?
I mean, aren't they? You wrote about it, so people should go read it.
It's $1. It's behind the dollar wall.
Okay.
So some people listening to this, in fact, probably many, are not subscribed.
Well, there's a good reason to go subscribe to Cinema Sangha on Patreon.
I won't tell the story.
Yeah.
All right. By the way, one more piece of housekeeping. We sold the Rachel Brosnahan Death Wish print.
That's exciting.
And we had talked about last time that we said if somebody buys this, we should take it off sale so only one of them exists on Earth. Are you going to take it off sale?
Supposedly we talked about that. I have no memory of that.
We definitely did. It was a whole bit. And we thought it was very funny. We laughed a lot. Are you going to take Rachel Brosnahan off sale?
Sure. Why not?
I think that's great. I think that's like a fucking hilarious thing to do. Nobody was buying it. I mean, I'm pretty positive this person bought it just because we said that's what we were that we would do that because it was funny. So, are you doing it right now?
I'm looking.
He's doing it live on the air, taking down Rachel Brosnahan. I just love that somebody's going to have this in their home. When did you make this? Like a year ago?
There is no. Oh, here it is. Here's my concern.
What's that?
It's outstanding, the order, so it has not processed or fulfilled. And my concern is if I take it off of the site, then they don't make it.
Why would that be the case? They're just waiting to process it.
Because I don't know how their stuff works.
I mean, I think you can take it off the site. I think that's pretty safe. We got an email saying that it was sold. So it just hasn't hit to the shipping or printing level yet. But
yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying is if I take it off the site, does it then they don't have a copy of what it should look like?
No, you just like isn't there a button to just say take off sale? There's no way you can just take it off sale?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you do. Just take it off sale. You don't have to like delete the image.
I don't know how this thing works, and I don't want to.
Well, this podcast this podcast isn't going to go up for a few hours, so you have time to figure it out between now and when. Because the thing is that now we're talking about it, somebody's going to go buy it. That's the thing, and we're going to have then not just one in the wild. And I think that the whole funniness of that will have.
I don't even know how to get to the store.
All right, so do we have any news this week?
Oh, here we go. Hold on, I'm about to.
He's going to do it live on the air. He's turning off Rachel Brosnahan.
If I can find it.
Now he can't even find it. We're doing this live. I can't believe that this is the kind of incredible content that people have and they're enjoying.
Not enabled for sale. There you go.
There we go. As simple as that. Look at that. All right. We have any...
well, for the person who ordered it, if it never arrives...
I know who it is because it sends... In the email, it sends the information about the person who ordered it. Yeah. So I will be able to contact them if... and yes, we are watching you when you buy stuff from us. But Derek, if people did want to buy stuff from us, where would they go?
Go go to cinema-sanga.com, and there's links to the Patreon and to the shop there.
There you go.
So there you go.
That makes life a lot easier, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We have any news this week?
We do. James Gunn had an interview with GQ where he talked about some unannounced stuff. He said, right now, there's actually 2 really cool scripts that I'm hoping to take to the next level that we have general plans for, and I'm excited about both of those. And then I'm excited about one TV project in particular. I don't know why we're not greenlighted on that already. It's just figuring out the budget. So it sounds like he does know why they're not greenlighted on it. So,
we have guesses on this?
I don't have any. No.
Did you see the big James Gunn news that popped just before we went on the air?
No.
Tim Meadows is going to be in Man of Tomorrow.
Oh, good. That makes me very happy.
They signed his deal. So Fleury will show up in Man of, which means he won't die next week. Now we know.
Good. I don't want him to die.
I mean, agreed, but
this extends the possibility of the internet being very happy where there's it's a bird, it's a plane, it's Superman joke with Fleury in there.
It feels pretty clear that that's going to be his role, right? Like, that feels like a thing he's going to do. Like, that just seems so obvious.
Yeah, I guess it does.
You don't think so? You just made the joke right now.
No, it's something that, like, on Reddit, everyone's like, it's got to happen, it's got to happen. And my thought process is, he knows the difference between a bird and a human, is the thing. Like, he's not species blind, he's bird blind. So if he saw somebody flying, he'd be like, oh, that's a guy flying. He wouldn't be like, that's a bird.
Listen, nobody's going to confuse Superman with a fucking plane. Like, that's the reality here we're working with. So obviously we're looking at, like, he must be pretty high in the sky.
There's a comedian that had a whole bit about that, about, like, what is wrong with the eyesight of the people in Metropolis. That they can't tell the difference in size between a man, a bird, and a plane.
If he's high up enough, he might look like a faraway plane, I guess. Like, yeah. I think the premise is, like, it's because it's a radio bit, right? Isn't that where that came from?
Yes, I believe so.
So it's like an audio thing. So it's like they're not really thinking about the actual visuals of it. Yeah, they're just thinking about
up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
I mean, I would like to see how they make that happen. What'd you just drop?
I dropped.
You have a Namor Lego at your desk?
A little Namor in Lego, yeah.
Why is it at your desk?
Because I already have one in my little Lego city of Namor, so I don't know what to do with this one. So I just keep it at my desk right now. So I'll figure it out.
You know what I would love for you to do one day?
What?
You're not going to ever do it, but I would love you to do a little video tour of your Lego city. I think people would love
it's not complete, is the problem. If it was complete, I would do it.
When's it going to be complete?
Whenever fucking Lego gets off their asses and puts out another piece that I want, because there's, like, space for one, maybe 2 more city pieces. And, I'd love a Daily Planet Lego. That'd be great.
I mean, that would be good. That would be good. That would be really fun.
Or Fortress of Solitude wouldn't quite work since it's like a city block, but I'll take it. You're not
going to do Arkham Asylum?
I don't think so. I don't like that set. I don't think it looks very good.
Yeah. So it's one of those sets where they're kind of splitting the difference, and it's like a little bit more complicated than most of the kid sets, but it's not as complicated as the adult sets. Yeah. So it's like kind of play scale as opposed to sort of adult scale, which is
what else would be great?
What?
The clock tower from Back to the Future. I would take that. Like, why not? Why not do that? Or Biff Tower from Back to the Future 2 would be awesome. Come on, Lego.
Why don't you get, like, the Empire State Building or something?
Because that's too big. That's too big. That's not part of their connecting city thing. So
that's architecture, yeah.
Yeah, it would be way too giant. It would look weird.
We are really off topic today.
Yeah. What are you going to do? It's good because we started this by saying, like, we have to get to the topics quicker.
Well, that's why I went and said in the first 2 minutes what we're going to do. I got that out because we're trying to, like, entice the YouTube audience to stick around. And so...
But think of all the SEO keywords we could fit in here. Lego, random Mexican horror movie. Yeah, we're doing great.
Oh man. Anyway, okay. What's our next item of news?
Hailey Steinfeld, right? I don't know. Says
Close
she's
enough.
waiting for Marvel to call her about showing up as Kate Bishop in the MCU again. They have not contacted her, which is really stupid of Marvel.
I mean, is she lying?
Maybe, I don't know.
The thing is that at this point, I've now hit the point where a lot of these actors, I kind of assume they're lying.
Yeah,
There's a couple who I don't assume they're like Mark Ruffalo, Tom Holland. These guys are just unable to lie about it. But I feel like a lot of the other actors lie, and especially at this point. What?
Did you see somebody
Mark
ask
Ruffalo?
Mark Ruffalo
Yeah.
about why he has not been announced for Endgame, or not Endgame? What was the new movie? Doomsday. And he's like, I think they're keeping me out so I can't spoil the ending.
So I think a lot of times they just lie now. I think they're told to lie. They're told to or they're told to say, I'm waiting to hear from Marvel. You know, like that kind of like a lie where it's not like no, I'm not going to be in that per se. It's like, hey, if Marvel calls me. And I think that that's a purposeful thing because you've been hearing more and more of these actors saying that.
Yeah.
And I do think that that is coming down from above in terms of how to answer these questions. So she might just very well be in fucking Doomsday, or she might know that she's going to be in Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Well, she should be in something because she's awesome and do Hawkeye season 2 already.
I mean, the thing is, she's 35 years old now. So, you know, we really have skipped a lot of Kate Bishop's growth by not having her in anything for 15 years or something.
Yeah. They goofed up everything. They really did. Like, I mean, it's the next volume of that history of the MCU book is going to be very interesting because everything just fell apart after Endgame. Like everything just collapsed around them.
Yep.
And it's very interesting.
Very much so.
And they still feel like they just have not figured out what to do.
No. Agreed.
We'll see. We shall see.
All right. What else we got?
Speaking of what to do, Daredevil season 3 will begin filming in the spring of 2026. So they're moving as quick as they can on that. So that's good.
That's good because season 2 is going to come out in 2025, right? So then that means season 3 will probably have.
No, season 2 is going to come out in 2026.
2026. That's what I meant. Yes, I meant
It's
that.
2025 now.
Yeah, I meant that. And so season 3 is probably going to come out in 2027 then. So we're getting an annual Daredevil show.
Yes.
And you know what? Whether or not you like Daredevil, whether or not you like Born Again, it's good to see Marvel involved in a TV show that has annual air dates.
Yes.
So I think that's a big improvement, and I think it's one that we can all support. If you don't like it, just don't watch it.
Sure.
Just don't watch
Or
it. Just,
watch it and complain about it a lot.
I mean, that is what
What
people
better
do.
use of your time is there in this life? Than to watch.
That's what you do with a lot of TV shows.
That is what I do with many of the things we watch. Yeah. It's me with all of What If.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually, I guess What If is the only show I really did not like.
It was
I'm trying to
bad.
think. It was bad. Like other
Not
ones,
the ones
I'm
that you were
not huge
middling on or whatever. Yeah,
but like Creature Commandos, I was like,
yeah, but
you know,
What If
I would have
was
watched
really-
it anyway, but like
I think I would have dropped out of Creature Commandos, I think, if I wasn't doing it for the show.
I would have waited till it was like complete, and then just watch it all in like a day. You
I
know,
would not
I
have the
would've done
fortitude to do that, no.
that. And then, God, what other shows have we done?
Anyway, what's next on the news?
There was a untitled Marvel movie set to be released on July 2027. It has been replaced by the Simpsons movie. My theory is the Simpsons movie is a crossover with the MCU.
I would like that. However,
That'd be
I
fun if Dr. Doom showed up and destroyed the Simpsons universe, and that was the end of the Simpsons.
my guess is that there was never a real movie there. It was just a date they claimed. That's my guess. So people are like, what did they cancel? Like, they canceled nothing. They just it's just there was never an actual film there. They just claimed dates far out, and they play a game with the dates with other studios. I think the more interesting thing is they're making a Simpsons movie too.
Sure, why not?
I mean, like what?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. I hope it does well for them. You know,
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last time I watched The Simpsons, and I have no idea.
I watched an episode last season that people liked a lot. I thought it was okay. My problem with The Simpsons now, and obviously every old person has a problem with The Simpsons after season 11 or whatever, is that everybody who works on it grew up on The Simpsons. And, Can you hear
I
me?
don't know if you're talking. Nope. Can't hear anything.
Can you see me?
Hello?
Hello? Can you see me?
You're not moving, and you're all robot.
Okay. It's trying to reconnect. So we just had a little bit of technical difficulty right there. I've edited everything out in the middle. But I was saying the thing about The Simpsons.
It'd be much funny if you didn't. It's just me sitting there clicking and being like,
The thing about The Simpsons today is that it's all created by people who grew up on The Simpsons.
yeah.
And so I think that it's the problem that, like, I think comic books end up having a lot and stuff like that, where it's people who grew up on the thing they're doing. And so it always feels second or third generation of it as a result. You know what I mean? People always are like, oh, I don't like when they bring in writers who don't read comics, let's say, for comic books. It's like, well, maybe that's actually a good idea. Maybe you don't want somebody who has a bunch of fucking ideas about how this is supposed to go. You know what I mean? Maybe you do want people that are like, I don't know.
I mean, in comics, the definitive problem in comics is so many writers, grew up reading the comics, and then when they come in, they go, I just want it back to the way it was when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then they wipe out whatever's been going on and be like, oh, I'm going to reset it to this. And it just, there's no growth. There's no character momentum, forward momentum of a character. And I think that can be a problem in comics. I don't know how much that's a problem in The Simpsons. I have no idea.
It's not. It's just like one of those things where it's like, I think that there is a sense that when you grew up on a thing and you're working on that thing, you just don't approach it as reverently as maybe the people who created that thing did, where there was no, every week they just did what they thought was the best. And it was not like, oh, is this a Simpsons joke? Like, it's like, is this a good joke? Like, do we like this? And so that's, I think, that's, I think, the thing. So, but I don't know.
A lot of times you'll see people online when it comes to comics, like when they complain about a writer, they'll say like, "Oh, it reads like fan fiction," and there's always a part of me that's like, "It is.
It's all fan fiction,
like,
bro.
All of it is fan fiction. Like once the original creator is gone, it's all fans now." Right?
Yeah, it's like that fucking meme of the two astronauts looking at the Earth, and one has the gun, the other one's head. It's like, oh, it's all fan fiction. Always has been, bro.
Yeah.
It definitely is. Yeah, that definitely is 100% how that goes. So
yeah, but there you go. We're getting a Simpsons movie.
All right. Anything else?
That's it for news. That's all I got.
Do we have letters?
We do. Trevor asks, any chance y'all would do the 2019 HBO Watchmen series on Marvel Vision? I did a Peacemaker rewatch to get ready for the new season. I listened to your podcast as I did so. You guys did a Watchmen on Watchmen, the movie around then. So I rewatched that and I listened to the episode. Then I rolled right into the HBO show. I am shocked. I feel like we did a Watchmen HBO for Marvel Vision.
I don't think we're doing Marvel Vision yet.
Didn't Watchmen start after
2019?
WandaVision?
2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually would love to do that. Like
Sure,
as
that's a great show.
Like when we have like the space, that's actually a smart idea. I think, for whatever reason, whenever Derek and I are talking about like what to cover on our off season, we never talked about that. We never bring it up.
I thought we did it.
Is that why? Okay.
It just never occurred to me because I was like, we must have done it,
nope,
right?
We never did. We never did it. So yes, it's a great idea. I love this idea. And after we finish Peacemaker next week, we're going to do Marvel Zombies, and then we're going to have a little bit of time before we do Wonder Man. I don't know if it's going to be enough time to do Watchmen. I don't want to cut Watchmen up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to do like 3
we still
now.
Don't have a date for Wonder Man.
We know it's the end of the year. We know it's December. but I guess we don't know the exact date yet. So, I mean, I'm looking that up right now. Do we definitely not have an exact date?
As far as I know, they have not announced the date for it.
Yeah, just December. It just says December. So yeah, I mean, we hopefully we find out a date. The problem with these fucking Marvel shows is they don't tell you until 2 weeks before they're debuting it.
Yeah.
So, I want to make sure we have the amount of time available to actually do Watchmen weekly and make it really count before we dive into it. But that's a great idea. I love this idea.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny because lately I've been like, oh, I should watch Watchmen again. It was a good show. So I'll hold off until we do it.
Yeah.
There you go. Jordan asks, what's the deal with Spawn? It seems like he was the biggest deal in comics for a minute in the 90s. He got a movie, tons of merchandise, the HBO show, and even big-name writers like Grant Morrison and Frank Miller writing issues of his book. Is there any artistic value to the original Spawn comics, or is it just an inexplicable 90s trend coasting on lots of skulls and attitude? I've never really read Spawn, so I can't say if it's any good or not.
I mean, it's funny, right? Because some of the greatest writers of all time worked on Spawn, right? That's like part of the thing. I mean, like that's part of what's interesting about it. But it's funny because really great writers worked on like Supreme and Youngblood, and I don't know that those are necessary. I don't know how good those stories are. Like, it's funny because I would consider myself traditionally rather an Alan Moore completist, but I've never read his Image stuff. I read 1963.
Okay.
But I never read those like where he just came into a book that was already existing and took over for a while. I just never did it. And I mean, I'm curious about it, but I also don't want to spend money on it. And I don't know if there are trades that are like still in print. I have no idea what the situation is there. Spawn, I think, has some really interesting elements to it, and I think that conceptually it's not bad. And I will say that I think there's a story that's okay, but I do think a lot of Spawn shit is based on skulls and chains and fucking guys up. I think that's a big... And I think a lot of the guys that came and wrote for Spawn, like Neil Gaiman, like Grant Morrison, were guys that came in and did it for the paycheck. I don't think that they came in with this sense of like, I've been dying to tell a story about Spawn. What's really interesting about Spawn is that he's black, and he's one of the very few black marquee superheroes. And of course, though, he's got a burned up face and he's under a mask all the time. But you know, he is still one of the few marquee black superheroes. Pretty cool. Todd McFarlane, nice work. Very woke of Todd McFarlane.
I think, is Spawn the longest running independent comic now, or is that Savage Dragon? I know one of them passed Cerebus, and it was a big deal.
I was just having I do these Patreon calls, right? And Savage Dragon came up on one of these calls.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which was the question of who reads Savage Dragon?
I have no idea.
I don't see it at the store. I have never met a human being who speaks about it out loud. I don't know anyone. Like, I don't see anything. I mean, obviously, it's paying him enough money.
Like, every now and then I'll read something about Savage Dragon, and I'll be like, oh, this is a comic that is just continued with a story. Like, Savage Dragon, as he was introduced in the 90s, that character's dead, and now it's about his son.
It's amazing.
And it's like, what?
Wow, but I think it's cool. Idea. Like every time I do take a little look at Savage Dragon, like it's obvious he's created this very intense universe and stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, and it has. I know it has to have its fans because he's still publishing it, and he's still making a living. Yeah. So, because I don't think Eric Larson does anything else, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
doing Savage Dragon.
Are you a listener or viewer? Are you a Savage Dragon person? If so, talk to us. We want to hear about this. We're very curious, like what the Savage Dragon deal is. Like, what is it that is like appealing? What is it that is happening? And is there like a big we could just go on Reddit and find out, I suppose. I'm gone again, aren't I?
I cannot hear you.
This is the night of 1,000 technical problems, by the way, because once again, my internet has been going up and down.
Someone doesn't want us to tell you the truth.
All right. Enough Savage Dragon talk. What's next?
We got another question.
Yeah,
You ready for this?
I am.
Dappion has been revealed.
What?
Yes. For anyone who's been paying attention, we've been getting questions from someone called Dappion, which confused us because that is what Devin used to call Charlie Brown when he was a child. And then they asked questions about my past, and we could not figure out who this person was. And they've written in to reveal themselves.
Holy shit, Dappion unmasked.
Dappion unmasked.
Okay, let's do it.
Hi, Derek and Devin. Dappion here. I'm happy to have heard you taking my questions, and even happier that my name has elicited such a reaction. You see, when I was young, I too had a nonsense name for a character that, to this day, members of my family remember. It was one of the lesser used Sesame Street characters, an odd thing for us both to share when I found out that this one fact stuck out to me.
I wanted to say that this is sort of written like a supervillain.
Yes. I love it. I love it. But how do I know about Dappion, you may ask? It's simple, Devin. Wait. It's simple, Devin. You told me. You told us all. I started re-listening to the Bad Batch in an episode somewhere around 2022. You mentioned Dappion being the name you had for Charlie Brown. This was around the time Peter Robbins, the original voice actor for Charlie, passed away, and was how the subject came up. As for Space Dilka, pretty much the same thing. Derek mentioned it on a Watchmen, and I remembered it because it's a funny name. As for my true identity and reason for revealing myself, I am merely the humble sandwich. I'm telling you all now because I no longer want to distract you by perhaps picking my emails over anyone else. You pretty much read most of my regular emails anyway, and finally my question, only one per email, right? Who's your favorite Batman villain? Mine's the Riddler.
Yes, it is one per email. Thanks for that one question.
Yeah.
Sandwich, who I recognize and who is a regular listener and a regular reader and a regular talker and hanger-outer. Well played, my friend. Well played.
I'll tell you what, if we had challenge coins, Sandwich would get a challenge
That's the
coin.
thing. Like, what if, like, the challenge, that's, like, we could do that. Like, that's, like, this is 100% challenge coin worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Man, nice work, Sandwich. Nice work. And really nice email there. I really, really...
You enjoyed that very much, yeah.
It tickled the hell out of me. Who's your favorite Batman villain?
My favorite Batman villain is Mr. Zsasz. I love the concept. Like, I like that there's a guy out there who's just a serial killer. And Batman's got to go beat him up every now and again. I think that's very interesting. Like, he has no interest in, like, destroying the city or running part of the city. He's just a serial killer. And I think that's much creepier than, like, the Joker.
That's your favorite, though? Like, that's like...
Yeah.
Huh. You know, it's kind of funny, because I also like good old Zsasz. But, like, you could tell, like, 3 Zsasz stories. That's about it, right? I mean, that's like what you got.
I mean, that's part of what I like about him is that, like, he doesn't pop up very often.
Uh-huh.
When he does, it's pretty quick. And to me, I've said this before, it makes no sense to me that they've, like, I don't think you need to spend $200 million to make a Batman movie. You can make a Batman movie for $50 million where he's hunting down a serial killer, and you will make $500 million, and you'll make a lot of money, yada, yada, yada. And I don't know why they've never done that. It seems like an easy way to go. And Mr. Zsasz would be the perfect villain for that.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Like, Zsasz definitely is cinematic in a lot of ways, and you're keeping it very down to earth.
He cuts himself every time he kills somebody. It's great.
Yeah, I mean, he does keep himself down to earth. It's not like crazy stuff. Yeah. I mean, I don't disagree. It's interesting that it's your favorite. You know?
Yeah.
Like, out of all of the ones, that is your favorite. My favorite... So, I am not 100% sure, like... what's funny is that I've been reading this Nightwing run, and they bring a lot of, like, rando Batman villains in. Like the Double Dare twins. Which is amazing. And I quite like them. You know what I mean? Like, I found...
Trio.
They do Electrocutioner, who is a pretty great dumb character to just have Nightwing kick around a bunch. But I guess I'm going to have to go with a character that like I think is the most interesting and that I like in a lot of ways, although I do not seek out stories with this character. Like probably like my favorite Batman villain is probably somebody like very boring, you know, like Catwoman or Two-Face, like in terms of like aesthetic and shit like that. But I think Ra's al Ghul is a terrific villain concept, and I like him as one of Batman's arch nemesis because of his whole deal. And I think that he...
I mean, Ra's al Ghul does have the craziest supervillain plot, which is fuck my daughter. And, you know, like, it's pretty wild.
It's pretty good.
You know.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I just like the whole like secret society, League of Assassins thing, and like all that shit. Like I find that really fun, and I like when, you know, I like when Batman fights like hoods and shit. And but I really like when he's up against like a really weird secret society transnational thing. I like, because my favorite Batman is the swashbuckling Batman.
Sure.
And so that's the stuff that really works best with, you know, so Ra's al Ghul's really good for swashbuckling Batman.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Did you read Batman Universe? The Brian Michael Bendis, Nick Darrington story?
No.
Because that's all swashbuckling Batman. It's him chasing Riddler through like time and space, but it's all Earth space. It's not like they don't go off to different planets. And so like they go back in time, and he's dealing with Jonah Hex, and then like him and Green Lantern go to Dinosaur Island, and Batman's very excited to be there.
Well, I've seen panels from
dinosaurs.
that. He sees dinosaurs. Let me ask you a question. Why bother chasing Riddler through time?
Riddler stole something, so he's chasing after him. I can't remember. I don't know.
Is it like a big thing that he stole that like is important?
Like a time egg that allows him to travel through time? And he's
cares?
like, we can't
Like,
have Riddler
I guess
traveling through time?
I guess you can. I feel like this. I feel like you call in somebody who's a time travel person to deal with that.
Like, what's his name? Rip
What's
Torn. That guy's name?
Rip.
Rip
Yeah,
Torn,
yes. Yes, I know you're talking about Rip. What's his name? The time
Rip
guy.
Hunter.
Rip Hunter. Yes, that's the thing. Like, call Rip Hunter. Like, that's like, hey, listen, this guy ended up in the time stream. That's your deal. Can you just go grab him? Like, you're probably gonna know exactly. You can probably figure out exactly where he's landing. Like, you could be there before he gets there because you're an expert time traveler. That's the thing. You're chasing somebody through time. The thing that when people write time travel stories, they're always like, somebody will go back in time and they won't come back for 7 years, and they're like, oh my God, this happened. It's like, well, why would they come back 7 years later? They can come back to any moment they want. And like, if you're chasing somebody through time, all you got to do is figure out when they went and then get there before them. That's all you got to do. It's as simple as that. Like,
Well, it's like Marty McFly says, I've got all the time in the world. I've got a time machine.
Well, it's like Bill and Ted at the end when he's like, well, I did this. And they go, well, we already set this up. And like, that's what you do with time travel. Like, you 100%, like, there's just no way. If you're able to time travel and you have some control over it, I feel like you're going to win every single time.
Sure.
Because it's so funny. Somebody's like, we got here and he's going to kill Hitler tomorrow. And it's like, I don't know, man. Why don't you just keep going back in time until you get it right? Like, you could totally do that. Like, most of the time. Obviously, sometimes, like, you're dealing with, like, limited fuel, or, like, they'll write in a thing, like, we don't want to fuck with the time stream, or it's going to break with the time stream or whatever. But, like, generally speaking, it's like there's a new Justice League crossover comic that's out right now, which I don't remember the name of it. It has a terrible name. But it's set on the Justice League Watchtower, and the Booster Gold gets taken by the Time Trapper. Did you read this one? It's in Infinite this week. It's not very good. But what's especially aggravating about it is there's a couple of times they're like, we're running out of time. Like, no, you're not. You're traveling through time. You are not running out of time. Not at all. There's no way that you're running out of time. You cannot. I mean, I guess conceptually time is collapsing from the future towards the present and the past. Yep. So technically, like, eventually it's going to crush all of time. But on a larger scale, like, you could definitely go back to the beginning of time and, like, have a fucking breakfast and hang out and, like, calmly discuss the matter. Like, you definitely could do that. So I don't, you know, that's my thing with time travel stories in comic books. Not in regular, but like in comic books when they use them in comic books.
Yeah.
So that's a thing I have. So
Yeah, I wouldn't argue.
anyway, did you read that comic? It's not.
I did.
It's not good.
This whole thing that they're doing, I'm just not into it right now.
For the folks at home that don't know this, actually, they did a thing in DC that I think is kind of cool. Time Trapper is an old Legion of Superheroes villain who has been around for decades, since like the 50s or whatever, right? But he's dead now. And the new Time Trapper is Doomsday, the guy who killed Superman.
Well, is Time Trapper dead, or has Doomsday always been the Time Trapper? Because the thing with the Time Trapper is nobody knew his identity.
He didn't have giant spikes coming out from under his hood.
No, but he was always wearing the cloak, and we never saw him.
Yeah, but he had a hood, and like Doomsday's spikes come all the way out. Like he would, it definitely could. I think it's probably wasn't.
I liked what they did with Doomsday, and that Doomsday was like, because Doomsday, if anyone doesn't know, Doomsday's whole thing is every time he dies, he comes back to life, evolved so that whatever killed him can't kill him again. And at some point, Doomsday evolved to a point where he gained enough intelligence to be like, oh, if I keep dying in different ways, I'll become a god. And so he just kept finding different ways to die until he could no longer die, and he became a god, and that is why he's the timekeeper.
Yeah.
Or a time trapper. Yeah. And it's like, that's cool. That's
it's cool.
Idea.
It's very cool. Yeah. And I also like that he's like really skinny and shit.
Yeah.
And that he's like exhausted all the time.
Yes.
His whole attitude is like, oh, like I kind of like that. Yeah. I kind of like that quite a bit. Yeah. So anyway, all right. If people want to send their letters in, how can they do that?
They can send them to ask.cinema.sanga@gmail.com. In the subject line, put if you want it for Marvel Vision or Bad Batch, and one question per email, please. Thank you.
All right. Are you ready to talk about the penultimate episode of Peacemaker?
Sure, why not?
All right, let's do it. Peacemaker Season 2, Episode 7, Like a Keith in the Night. We open with everybody in Argus headquarters, and we see that there's the Hitler mural that pops up.
The best joke of the season is when she's going through. It's like, how did you not know? When they're looking at the flag with the swastika on it, and he's like, I just didn't notice that. And then she's like, there's copies of Mein Kampf on everyone's desks, and he's like, I don't read. And then she's like, what about the Hitler mural? And he's like, all right, I should have seen that.
So good. That was so funny.
That made me laugh so hard.
So I will say a question that I have is that James Gunn has been really specific about not calling this Earth X. He keeps saying Earth 2. And a lot of people are like, oh, come on, it's Earth X. We get it. I think it's not Earth X.
I mean, it is.
I don't think it is, though. I think that the Nazis just won World War II. I don't like the way that it sounds. I think that he's keeping Earth X open with the freedom fighters and stuff for use elsewhere. I mean, I honestly feel that way.
I mean, maybe, but I also feel like it'd be real goofy to be like, oh, this is Earth X with the freedom fighters. What's that Earth about? Oh, the Nazis won World War II. Well, we just did that.
I know, but like the thing is, like there should be a lot of universes where the Nazis won World War II.
Sure,
it should be a very common universe in a lot of ways.
Of course, but also you are telling stories, and you don't want to just repeat the same story concept over and over again, right? Like that's a problem if you're doing that. So you don't want to be like, oh, here's another Earth where the Nazis won, but this one's got, instead of the Sons of Liberty, this one's got the freedom fighters, and it's like, all right, like, okay. It's just not that different.
Man, we are not having any luck at all. We have had nothing but technical difficulties. Why are you staring at me like that?
We've been recording for 13 hours. I just want to get this done.
Is that what it says? 13 hours?
I don't know how long it's been. Since last night. I'm exhausted.
We've been having a lot of technical difficulties. And so this episode's a little more disjointed than normal. That's the reason why. Because we have really fucking run into a lot of trouble. Look at the difference in our skin tones here on these cameras. I'm like deep yellow, like a Simpson. And you are deathly pale white with some red in you. Do you notice that? The difference in the... I mean, now
I'm all red. blotchy. You can see from when I go out where my sunglasses are, and what part of my face the hat stops the sun from hitting.
I can't see that now that you mention that. It's just funny. Our skin tones are just so different, though. I mean, obviously part of this is the lighting. Although, actually, you know what? Our arms are pretty close. Anyway,
my arms are
paler
than you.
Yeah,
So I've always been paler than you. You have more of an olive tone.
Yeah, I sure do. Yeah. All right, so we were talking about the opening, and Peacemaker and Amelia make their escape, beating up a couple of guys, and that takes us into the opening credits as they run through the office, just pounding out guys as they go, just knocking guys down.
I greatly appreciate that they take out the guards, and then as they're running, there's just like two like office workers, and they each take one of those guys down who are just like kind of walking by because they are, at the end of the day, Nazis.
You know what, though? The episode actually kind of asked that question: is are they Nazis? That's I think a really interesting. Why do you say yes? They are.
Because I know the episode asked that question. I think the episode does a very bad job with that question.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I actually think it does a pretty okay job. I mean, one of my problems with this season has been that it felt like there's a lot of fucking wheel spinning and like it's taking forever to get any place with this season. I do wish that's a really interesting question. Like, is everybody in the Nazi world a Nazi? And if this season had one episode more to explore that deeper rather than shove it in at the end of this episode, I think it would have been much better, frankly. But I think the question I think is answered reasonably well. And I think the important thing to remember, this episode makes it really fucking explicit, which I don't love. But that Gunn is talking not about Nazi Earth; he's talking about this Earth.
Yes,
that's like what is the concern here, you know?
Yes.
So I think that in terms of that thematics, I like where the episode ends up. We next go to the two vigilantes, and they are talking. Earth 2 vigilante is talking about Sons of Liberty. He's a total doofus, but he's this Earth X version, a little more serious. I think he's seen more shit.
It's very interesting that he is just as goofy as the vigilante we know, but also more attentive and understanding of what's happening around him.
I think the big difference, if I had to guess, would be that Vigilante 2 has a mission. Vigilante 1 is just killing guys doing graffiti. Yes. And so all those instincts are being channeled into a
purpose.
A real purpose. I mean, obviously Vigilante 1 feels like he has a purpose too, but there's a big difference in those purposes. And also I think the other difference is that Vigilante 2 is worked with the Sons of Liberty, which means that he is part of a group. And that, I think, Vigilante 1 is getting there, clearly. Well, maybe not so clearly at the end of this episode, but he is getting there, and I think it's kind of interesting. We cut back to.
I do appreciate when Vigilante 2, when Vigilante 1 explains that, like, oh no, the Nazis lost the war on my Earth, and Vigilante 2 is like, you must live in a utopia, and Vigilante 1's like, well, not really, like,
But when Vigilante 2 learns that Leota's black, he's like, we got to go get your friend. We got to do it right now. We cut to the group that's chasing Leota, and Keith takes a phone call while he's running after her.
Yeah. Yeah, a little weird. He takes a phone call that's essentially like, hey, we need to get you out of the scene because everyone's going to die, and you can't die yet.
I have a lot to say about that bit. Yeah, sort of. I mean, I can think also part of. I mean, my headcanon is like Augie has his own ringtone.
No, I don't. It's not. My problem is the idea that like he stops in the middle of all this to take a phone call and be like, "Oh, okay."
But if it's Augie
home for dinner,
that's the thing. I think if it's Augie, it makes more. Like if he knows it's Augie, the ringtone is Augie's ringtone. I think that it makes more sense because Keith. That's definitely Keith's deal. Keith definitely is a daddy's boy, and that's what makes the ending where he goes against Augie feel a little bit stronger because that's not his deal. That's why he feels so betrayed by Augie at the end. because he's always been the daddy's boy. He's always been the good boy. He's always been the one that listens to his dad. But Augie calls him and is like, hey, you got to get home right now. We've got something going on bigger than whatever you're doing. It's pretty fucking huge. And we see Economos tied to a chair crying. Economos really doesn't acquit himself well in the Nazi Earth at all.
No, he does not do well. Which I don't think I would do very well. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's a rough situation to be in.
I always wonder how I would do in these situations. Like if somebody stabbed me in the hand like that, like I have like a lot of anger. And so like would I get petulant as opposed to like pathetic? Like that's the...
I mean, I've never broken a bone. I
may have just broken my foot right now.
You may have just broken your foot right now, but like I personally have, I think I've told the story before when I was having stomach issues. I went to the hospital, and they brought out that little 1 to 10 happy face to horrific pain face, and the nurse was like, "Where are you on this chart?" And I couldn't decide. And when I told her, I was like, "I can't say this is the most pain I've ever felt, but I've never felt much pain." The nurse's answer was like, clearly you're very low on the scale if you have time to rationalize your pain. Yeah. So being stabbed through the hand, I don't know how I would react to that. Because that seems like it would hurt a lot.
It seems like it would hurt a lot. But my thing is, for me, is my initial reaction, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like, you've known me for a long time. I have a little bit of a defiance thing, and I have an anger thing. So I always think I would probably get myself killed. Too.
Right?
He does too, but he's a pretty big coward.
He's a big coward, is the thing. Yeah.
He's a pretty big coward. Like, he's a pretty exceptionally big coward. He isn't like regular cowardly. He's big level cowardly.
Yeah.
Leota gets cut off by a truck that comes in the middle of the street, so she cuts into a backyard and jumps over a fence. And then, so the thing is, what happens next, I do not understand at all. I understand it in terms of needing to set up a situation, but I don't understand why she jumps in the pool.
Not very clear on that.
I understand why.
Seems like this is
like a
slow me down.
stupid idea. Like, it just seems to me like all they have to do is walk around and...
She should have fallen into the pool.
Yeah, I think that's probably the better move, right? Because the thing is, all those people have to do is not follow her into the pool and just surround the pool.
Yeah.
You know, there's a good chance you could just wait out there and she'll just drown if you keep her in the pool long enough, you know?
Yeah.
But she jumps in and she swims across the pool, and it's all in service of setting up a very cool bit. Like, I'm okay with the bit. Like, that's the thing. Yeah. I just think
but once we see why this is happening, I was like, okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah. Once we see I'm saying, like, for James Gunn, this is an unusually bad setup, I think.
Yes.
He's usually much better at it than this.
Yeah.
When she gets to the other end of the pool, she sees Judomaster there. He has a handout, and he has 2 wires, and he says, zippity zap, bitches, and just puts the wires into the pool and electrocutes everybody. I don't think this would happen, but it's amazing.
I did not question the science of it.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the science of it too much. There's a good shot of Crocs.
Yes.
With a swastika on them, which I really
very funny.
I really liked. And Judomaster helps her get up. She's like exhausted and wrung out, and he's like, let's go. And he takes her someplace else. We cut back to Peacemaker and Amelia trying to escape Argus, and they get stopped by guards downstairs. And they all have their guns out, and Peacemaker has Amelia grab him, and then he turns on his jetpack, and they fly badly out through the window and slam into the side of a car. And Amelia's pretty upset.
This was a good bit, too, because the hero music starts to play.
Yeah.
And then he smashes into the car, and I like that.
No, it's really good. Peacemaker says, how big's the door to our world? And she's like, I don't know, so I'm going to bring the peace cycle. He doesn't.
No, he does not.
I really wish he had.
Yeah, he kind of didn't have the opportunity.
I know, but I kind of wish that he did. Do you know what I mean? I wish that there was a way they could have done it.
With how everything goes down, it'd been real weird if, like, he stopped.
No, I get.
Like,
there's no good. There's no good way. There's no good way. But it would have been awesome because I kind of love the peace cycle, and I think it'd be fun if he's riding. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up just riding on it in some future thing.
Sure. One thing I did wonder, because there was the whole thing of Fortnite removing the Peacemaker dance because of the Nazi connotations, and
They
They
put it
put
back.
out a whole video. Yeah, they put it, but they changed it. They like modified the dance. But they did a whole video of like the company that built the Peace Cycle out of like a Harley Davidson. And now I'm wondering if they're like, wait, I'm sorry, it's for who? It's for a Nazi Peacemaker? like, like,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's got to be a little weird, right?
So Keith comes back home and is like, who the fuck is this guy? And Economos is like, I'm just a regular thief. I just came into your house to steal some stuff. And I'm so scared that I lied about everything I said. And Augie's like, no, you were being very fucking honest. And so Augie takes Keith into the room and is like, hey, so this guy, his friends are here. He came in from another dimension. And if anybody finds out that we have this fucking dimensional door, we are fucked.
We're in bad trouble, yeah.
It makes me wonder what they're using that for. It's not even clear what Augie 1 was using it for, right?
It's not, no.
Yeah,
Although we do know that Earth X Augie saw Augie 1. And so that, and he says like he was an angry man.
He was troubled. Yeah, he was messed up.
And he says his Earth must be a dark version. And it's like,
and he also tells Keith that he's pretty sure that Chris is dead. And Keith's like, that's impossible. Yeah. I just saw him. And it's like, well, we're wondering why he's been acting weird. And it's because he's an alternate universe. The one that was here now is an alternate universe, Chris.
Yeah.
And
then the Halloween joke pays off.
Yes, the Halloween joke pays off where he's like, he never heard of Halloween. She never heard of Halloween because he says like, oh yeah, Amelia also I think is weird. She's wearing pants and she never heard of Halloween. And Augie goes, that's impossible.
He goes, that ain't possible. Which made me laugh very hard. This episode made me laugh a lot. It really did.
This is the best episode of the season, I think.
Maybe. I have problems as well.
I didn't say it's the best episode ever. I said of the season.
Yeah, I don't know.
What's a better episode this season?
I really like the second episode. There's a whole lot of Tim Meadows in the second episode.
I mean, fair.
And, you know.
Meanwhile, Eagly comes into the kitchen where Economos is tied up, and this does not help Economos. He brings a string to Economos.
Yep. And then goes to the fridge.
Yeah, it goes to the fridge, and Economos is like, you're the most self-centered fucking bird I've ever met in my life.
You are unbelievably fucking selfish, Eagly.
Yeah. We then cut to the house where Judomaster's living. It turns out that a bunch of houses in the area, people are away or they're not in. Very convenient, but whatever. The joke is that he chose this house because it has the most snacks. Yep. And I like that very much. Also, he calls Peacemaker Peacemaker, yes. which I like quite a bit. And Leota's like, "Why'd you save me? Like, we're enemies." And Juno's like, "It wasn't a fair fight. So I just felt like it wasn't right." And then he boasts that it was the most people he's ever killed in a pool with a telephone wire. And she's like, well, how many have you previously killed in a swimming pool with a telephone wire? And he says 4. And this must have been at least 15. So yeah. He's so excited about it. So he gives her like a towel and stuff because she's all wet. So we begin to see the bonding happening between these two. Economos, this is where Economos, then Augie and Keith leave in their costumes. They're going to go off. And this is where Eagly is dealing with the string and shit. We cut back to the other house, and Leota's getting filled in on the history of this planet, which is the Nazis one. And Judomaster says, you don't want to be a minority here, or gay, or Buddhist, or anything I am, really, which I thought was really great. But I also love that he's canonically gay. Yes. I love, and he's talking to a canonically gay character. I just absolutely love that. Like, call me woke if you like, but I think representation is great when the representation is not always positive. Like, I think that the idea that he's a total fucking sociopath who is gay, but is not a sociopath in like some kind of Silence of the Lambs like way. You know what I mean? Like, he's just a guy who likes to kill people, but he does it for good reasons. Like, I love that. That's really great.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a similar thought, but a different fashion of. I really appreciate when stories have representation, but the representation is not the point of the character.
Well, that too, right?
You know,
I suspect that the character was not written as gay in season 1, but Nut Lee is gay, and I suspect they put that. I mean, his performance has flair.
I mean, sure, but I mean, part of that is he's a short guy with a higher register voice, but like his best line in season 1, "Ding dong bitches," was his.
That was his improv.
Improv, and that's a very, I think, looking back at it now, it's like that's a gay man line.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's like absolutely. Yeah. It's like and so I think that, but that's I think season 2, the decision to make him canonically gay is really just influenced by the actor.
Yeah,
I don't think that that's a piece of any of this character, but I love it, and I've decided that I think Judomaster might be my favorite, one of my favorite, maybe top 5 live action superhero characters.
He's great.
He's just such a great character. He's just so fun to spend time with.
Nutley is really didn't get a lot to do in the first season, in a bunch, but is mostly just fighting or unconscious, right? Doesn't really say much. This season has a lot more talking, has a lot more stuff going on, and especially in these bits with Leota, the face he makes when he says, like, "This is the most people I've ever killed in a pool with a telephone wire," like the face he has of hoping that she'll ask what was the previous record is so good.
Yeah,
it does a really good job.
That again speaks to the fact that they got to know this actor, and they're like, "Oh my god, we got to do much more with this guy." Like, this guy is not just the action guy. That's what we hired him for, and we loved what he did. But then as we shot, we're like, "My god, this guy's just so fucking excellent." So they've given him. I mean, not as much as I want a Judomaster TV show, frankly. I would like much more Judomaster. But I'll take this. So when he says it's a Nazi Earth and they don't like gays, Buddhists, minorities, Leo goes, "Jesus Christ," and he goes, "Oh, they love him."
That's really good.
And Judomaster is very heroic here because Leo's like, "What do we do?" He goes, "Wait till nightfall, sneak back to the mansion, find your friends, and get the fuck out of this planet."
Yeah.
And
one thing that's also very funny is clearly Judomaster is the most is professional the right wording for this? The most intelligent about what to do when you enter another reality?
Yep.
In that he did not get caught.
Right.
He's hiding out in somebody's house. Like, he knows how to play it.
Yeah, everybody else is extraordinarily stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. The rest of them are morons.
I honestly, like, the thing is, like, again, Leota needed to take that walk to have that plot point happen, but I think if I was in her position, I would not, like, I wouldn't even be standing in the window where they were. Like, I would be, like, hidden someplace deep in the house if I felt that was what I had to do. Like we talked about, I would turn on the TV, I would go on the internet, pick up, whatever. Like, whatever I could find out, like, within the context of that house, I would find out before. Because I don't want to walk outside and say something that's going to show that I'm, like, totally out of step. Like, I don't want to do that. Because God knows if everybody walks up to me and goes, "Hail Abraham Lincoln," I'm like, I want to understand that. Yeah. I've watched enough fucking Star Trek where they go to weird planets and they kind of know how to do it. They don't do a lot of this, like, "What are you talking about?" They sometimes
do and they don't. I mean, they do have a thing where it's like, okay, we got to go to this, we're going to travel back in time. Let's make sure Spock is part of the crew that goes back in time. It's like, well, he's a green-skinned devil man. Like,
they put a hat
back
on
in time.
They put a hat on
but that's not a bad idea. And then there's also an episode of Next Generation where they go back in time and they bring Data, and it's like, Data's not going to fit in. He's an android man with weird eyes and, like, super white skin. Like, you can't hide him. But they'd be like, "Oh, I'll be fine. We're in the Old West. Nobody will ask anything."
They don't go to the Old West back in time. That's on the holodeck.
No, they go to the Old West because they find Data's head buried. Yes,
they go. They go back to San Francisco in the late 1800s because they meet Mark Twain, but it's not the Old West.
They call it the Ancient West in the episode.
Yes, they call it the Ancient West, but it's not the Old West. It's not a cowboy story. It's I would draw the line there. I think if no cowboys appear, I just actually watched those episodes the other day. They're very stupid. That's where they meet Guinan in the past, and she's been living there. But there's an episode of Deep Space Nine where Quark goes back in time, and he's the Roswell alien.
Yes, that's crashes. A fun one.
That's a very fun one. And so we then
that was fun too because they have the whole thing where the the translator is broken.
Yes.
I really like that they play on that idea. I
Yeah.
was like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah. We then cut to Harcourt and Peacemaker riding the Peacemobile down the street, and they're having a tender moment, and then sirens come up behind them. And we have this moment where they realize that this is about to be a Bonnie and Clyde situation, that they've probably reached the end of the road in many ways. And Harcourt lays her head on Peacemaker's back in a real tenderness, like a real tender, affectionate thing. And Peacemaker feels pretty fucking happy. Like there's like a real sense that they're probably fucked, and you can tell they think they're fucked because they don't look back. They don't, you know what I mean? They're not doing any of the things that you would do if you thought you could get away.
Yeah.
And they just hold hands. And so, but he has this look on his face where it's like the best moment of his life. Like nothing could be better than this. And they end up going down a road, and they end up getting surrounded by police at like a stable. And they think they're fucked, that the cops are going to kill them. And then all of a sudden, everything begins blowing up. And it turns out that Augie and Keith, Captain Triumph and the Blue Dragon, have showed up, and they just kill all the cops.
Yes.
They kill every single one of the cops. And they're like, if you want to fucking live another day, you better come with us. Which was that... Is that a Terminator reference?
Somebody asked Gunn that. He says he did not do that on purpose.
Huh.
So
because he doesn't do it. So he doesn't do the actual line. Is the thing.
No,
so,
he doesn't say
but it's
come with me if you want to live. But it's
quite close.
He's like, if you want to live, come with me or whatever.
Yeah,
like, it's very, very simple.
If you want to keep living, come with me or something like that.
Yeah.
But like, wait, he didn't do it on purpose. He didn't realize it. I guess he knows Robert Patrick as a person at this point, that it no longer... There are people who I know who are well known for other things, and that's not what comes to mind when I'm talking to them. So
Sure.
I guess that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know this person as a person. So what comes to mind is their life, as opposed to like whatever movie they're in or whatever thing they directed. Like that. So I guess that's the same thing here. Like he just knows this guy now, because they've been friends for years now. We get Rick Flag and Sophie Bordeaux coming into a warehouse, and this is where they run into Sidney Happerson.
Huge cameo.
Huge cameo. So the thing is, I said this last week, and this episode does nothing to help me. Why did they go to Luthor first? How do they not know what this guy does?
Why are they going to any of these people? They're like, oh, we need a thing to track the device. In the first episode, they're tracking the device.
But we talked about this. They know where the device is. So that's the thing. They can track it. They have an eye on it. But the problem, my guess, is that the eye is some kind of satellite or something, and they don't know where to point it. That's my guess. That they don't have a satellite network that can detect this. They have a satellite that can detect this.
But no, again, because in the first episode, they say that it picked it up when he opened it 6 months ago.
Right, but they never picked it up before. So my guess here is, again, it's probably just one of those things. The satellite picked it up. It just happened to be at the right spot at the right time to pick it up. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I wish there was some clarity on this in the show.
I don't disagree, but like, you know, also it's like one of those things where I just feel like Sidney Happerson's real smart and stuff like that. But I don't mind when the good guys have to go to a bad guy for help. But I guess I don't understand the status of the DCU tech-wise. That, like, does the government not have guys like this? Do you know what I mean? Like,
this would work if it was a thing of like, okay, we know this device is there and it opens up a portal to other realities. You guys have the most experience with this. We want you to help us figure it out.
right.
That'd be fine. I'd have no problem with that. You know, like we went to Mr. Terrific. He said, fuck off, right? He's not going to help us. But, you know, but you're in prison. You're going to help us. That would work. That would make sense to me. But them just being like, hey, can you track this thing down? And then be like, yeah, I guess, okay. It just doesn't connect well.
Do you know what's funny is that I think it was on our Discord, somebody talking about Superman the movie, and it was a complaint that they had that I had never considered. And then as soon as I read it, I was like, oh yeah, that's a good complaint. And I don't want to ruin this picture for anybody, but like Lex Luthor should be the guy making the portals. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I guess we have hit an era where Lex Luthor is a smart businessman all the time and not the super. But he feels like Gunn is
making the portals.
No, he's not. Sidney Happerson is.
No. Sidney Happerson works for him.
Right, but
But
Sidney
Lex
Hampson,
created the portal technology.
we know that?
Yes.
How do we know that?
Because they say it in the movie. I mean, Mr. Terrific says Lex is always creating junk science. Happerstein says if we keep it open, it's going to cause this problem. And Lex is like, but we can shut it down whenever I want, right? And he's like, hypothetically, because I know what I'm doing. Like,
Yeah, but that doesn't 100% mean that he created it. I mean, like, it's like one of those things where it's like Steve Jobs didn't create the iPhone. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like,
but my stance on this my belief on this is that Lex created it, but Lex has his team that works on things with him. You know, that's how it works.
okay. I just thought it was interesting because if the thing is that, like, that would make the Lex cameo make more sense if Lex was the guy who did this stuff. But Lex says you got to talk to Sidney Happerson.
Yeah.
Like in the cameo, he doesn't say, "Oh, I can tell you how to do this." He says, "Go talk to Sidney." So that's the other.
But I mean,
I'm nitpicking, but
it's
like
the kind of thing of like, you know, I'm going to put it this way. I'm going to use a very, I don't know why this is the movie I'm going with. The movie Hidden Figures, right? Where they're figuring out how to get a man to the moon, and it's all about the women that made that possible, right? That did the math by hand.
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Costner's character in that movie, he oversees everything. He knows the tech, he knows the science, but when you want the math, he's like, you gotta go talk to them because they do the math. I'm just the one making sure all the pieces are fitting together. Like, I think that's what Lex is. He's like, he knows all the pieces, but he's not building the device by hand. You know, he's like, no, you build the device, you figure out the mathematical formula that makes this happen, and yada yada yada. But this is all my science that my genius has broken the way to open up the portal.
Yeah, okay. That I'll accept this. I'll accept this as the, because I do think that this is all downstream of the decision to make Lex in the 80s a billionaire and a businessman. So I think that then, because I think before that Lex just did the shit, right? Like he just like designed.
Yeah, he was just a mad
scientist.
inventions.
Yeah. So all right, so they get Happerson down in front of his old the warehouse holds that Lex room where they were doing all their staging in Superman, and they get Happerson in front of his portal monitor, and they're like, you know, he's like, why should I fucking help you? You're gonna get me time off or whatever? And Flag's like, no way. And he said, you're gonna help me because do you want me to go back and tell Lex that you said that you weren't gonna help because Lex said that you would do it? And Happerson's like, okay, fine. And Happerson notices that he finds it immediately. Like, it takes 2 seconds for him to do this. And it's funny because he's like, I don't know, maybe I can. And then he immediately does it. And he notices that this wormhole is stable, which they never were able to do. As we saw in Superman, that's what caused the rift. The rift was caused by the instability, but he says, this tech is not ours. It's not of this planet at all. And it's really, you know, great. And then Flag says, good job, I may be keeping you around, which is James Gunn's way of telling us we're going to see him in Man of Tomorrow.
Well, we're going to see him in the next episode.
Yeah, but I think we're going to see him in Man of Tomorrow, too.
I'm sure we will. I mean, yeah.
I think Lex's team might get reconfigured, you know what I mean, brought back together for Man of Tomorrow. So in the post-credit scene, we see that after they leave him with one guard, and Happerson's like, listen, I'm going to jerk off right now. You might want to turn away, and the guard won't. And we see him like go so far as pull his pants down to go jerk off to the internet. So
yeah, pretty well. We also meet Smiley. Don't forget Smiley.
Smiley, we supposed to know who that is?
That's like one of the random people there, and Happerstein does his thing, and then Flag turns to the guy and goes, Smiley, make sure he does blah, 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 blah. And it just cuts to this guy with a huge smile on his face, like, oh, yeah, that's it. It just made me laugh.
We cut back to Earth 2. Judomaster and Leota are playing Scrabble. It's Scrabble in that Earth, and Judomaster's fucking killing her. And they're talking about their lives, and she's talking about the problems that she has with her wife. And she's like, you know, I don't understand why she can't just, you know, see my dream or accept my dream. And Judomaster's like, well, what's her dream? And Leota says, he goes, why can't you help her dream? And it's like one of those like, shit, he got you. Like, why does it have to be your dream that gets followed? Like, why is that the default setting?
Why not the pet store?
Yeah, why not the pet store? And I love And I love that, like, he's emotionally intelligent. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's a sociopath, but he's an emotionally intelligent sociopath. And then they have a conversation about the idea, like, Leoto's like, I can't believe Chris thought this was a good universe. And Judomaster's like, for that piece of shit, maybe it is. And he calls him a jingoistic garbage person with horrible musical taste. And
the musical taste of the neighbor from Toy Story.
Toy Story, yes. And Leota launches into this defense. I don't know that I don't know I think the problem here is that Peacemaker's musical taste is bad, and I don't share James Gunn's fondness for this music. So when she's like, actually, once I opened my heart to it, I found I really liked it, sort of like Chris. And I'm like, I'm not 100% sure that I can follow that entire metaphor because I don't like this music. Like, I just don't enjoy it. I think it's bad. And but I understand the concept though. Once you get past the stuff that's bumping against you, you can find something really meaningful, and that's her argument for what Peacemaker is like. And this feels like an attempt to create a situation where Judomaster can be part of the team, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, a big part of this episode is setting up Judomaster to be one of the 11th Street kids, without doubt.
Yeah. I mean, which is funny because there's probably not going to be a third season, and I suspect that when James Gunn says that he doesn't think there's going to be a Peacemaker season 3, he's speaking from actual knowledge, not just of what he wants to do, but what they will allow him to do monetarily.
Well, he said that there's another thing, not exactly Peacemaker season 3.
Right, it's going to have these characters. I'm assuming Judomaster shows up. Yeah, Judomaster, I'm assuming, goes to that show. Sorry, I'm drinking. I'm very thirsty today. They fuck, I suck at Scrabble. And I really like this because Judomaster's like laughing and then he just snaps directly into like work mode. And just, at first I thought he was like, did he hear something that's like dangerous? Is they going to get attacked? No, he just noticed that it's dark out. So it's time for them to
he snaps and he goes over, looks through the curtains and goes, the darkness is here.
Yes, the darkness is here. Really great line.
What a weird way to put that.
It's such a great way to put that. So Peacemaker and Amelia get brought back to the house, and they find Economos. And again, the Economos' cowardice comes into play here, where they see him and he goes, I'm sorry, dude. They stabbed my fucking hand. And then as soon as Keith and Augie come in, he goes, I mean, wait, I don't know who these people are. And Harcourt's like, Jesus Christ, Economos. He really doesn't. He's like, what is this weird costume this man's wearing? I'm unfamiliar with it. And so Augie's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And we got a great bit here where Amelia sees the knife on the kitchen island that that Augie had stabbed Economos with, and Augie clocks her immediately. He's like, I know exactly what you're looking at, and you're not going to get there. Like, you just trust me, you're not going to get there. I like that a lot. I like this Augie a bunch.
He's a good character.
He's a really good character. And I think it's really well done in that it's very surprising. Like, we were surprised when he was nice earlier in the season. Yeah. But I think that the continued surprise of, he actually is pretty reasonable. Like, he's not Augie from Earth 1. He is not a total fucking psychopath. Yeah. That's like a pretty interesting, I think, take that I think really works. And so basically, Augie makes Chris tell the story, and he's like, Chris is like first like, hey, don't punish them, punish me, let them go home. And Economos is like, well, I mean, I would go. And Harcourt's like, we would never do that, Chris. And Economos is like, well, I mean, maybe I will.
Yeah.
So Peacemaker tells the story. He tells the whole story. He didn't mean to hurt anybody. He was here. The other Peacemaker came up behind him with a gun to his head. He snapped into sort of instinct. They had a fight. He tried to get away. That Peacemaker followed him, and he accidentally killed him by hitting the jet thing on his jacket. And Keith is like fucking way upset. And Augie's like, you know what? I believe him. I believe it was an accident. I do believe it was an accident. Yeah. And Keith is like, but dude, like this is my fucking kill my brother. And Augie's like, you know what? Like, this is actually the part where Keith's like, you fucking kill my brother. And Augie's like, Keith, you promised to pull it back. That I was like, wow, even knowing this is a different Augie, this is an even more different Augie than I expected him to be, because he is trying to keep Keith calm. And basically, Augie's whole thing here is our Chris is an asshole. Like, our Chris is a piece of shit. And so the idea that he, like, fucking really went to town on this guy, and this guy needed to protect himself from that Chris, I totally buy it. Like, Chris, that's how Chris does. Like, Chris would never have a conversation or try to, like, de-escalate the situation. He would immediately go in for the kill. And Keith is like, what, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you think, you don't you love your son? He's like, I love him very much, but I also know who he is. And at that moment, there's a knock on the door. And it's the cops. And the cops are like, hey, so sorry to be... It's the cop from season 1.
Yeah, Agent
Evergreen.
Fitzgibbon. Yeah. That's very exciting. That was fun.
And he's
That's
like,
a
hey,
fun
sorry to
little
be
game.
here.
You know?
I mean, I didn't recognize him because it's been so long since the first season. I mean, I recognized... I was like, this guy's familiar looking, and he gets a reveal, but I was like, I didn't remember who the fuck he was until he said his name. And then even then, I only remembered his name because Gunn talks about this on the podcast all the time, that his neighbor's name was Fitzgibbon. So, like, that's the only reason I know. And so Fitzgibbon is like, hey, so is your son home? And Augie says, nope. And he closes the door. And Fitzgibbon's like, no, we'd really like to come in.
Yeah. This is an interesting question. What constitutional rights still exist in a Nazi-controlled United States?
So
that the
I
police
think
are like, well, we don't have a warrant, so we can't go in yet.
I think that my guess has got to be that in a Nazi-controlled United States, where they have basically carried out the final solution, more or less, that they do have, like, I think that the citizens as well. I think one of the things interesting about the current situation in America is that other countries, when they went to fascism, are countries that maybe did not have long histories of democracy and freedom like we have. Like, our whole identity is based on that, right?
Yeah.
So we really, one of the things interesting is watching as people begin to really bristle against what's happening. Because even people who, I was talking, in fact, to, before this, I did one of my Patreon calls, and the person I was talking to said his mom was a QAnon, who was a big Trump person, but now she hates Donald Trump.
Okay.
And I do think that there is something inherently in the American psyche and how we approach things that does not like the idea of full dictatorship. We want a strong man doing things, but we want to know that we are protected.
Yeah.
And so I suspect that, I wonder if it has adapted to an American version. Do you know what I mean? Like, where those rights do exist, these are white people. White people have rights. Like, I think that might be the situation in... Now, I'm just like today, technically we have rights. I'm sure it's very easy for the cops to be like, well, we think you were harboring a terrorist or whatever, which is what happens here. Especially now when ICE is just breaking into everybody's apartment in a Chicago building. Like they did, they zip-tied children, right? So like they have the pretext that they're able to claim. And then somebody can deal with it afterwards. The other factor here is that Augie is a famous superhero.
Yes. That's the main thing, is that I think, warrant or no, the reason they don't go is because he is a celebrity. He is a recognizable figure.
He's a recognizable figure. Yeah. Also, they're there to talk about a bunch of cops that just got killed, and he's wearing his fucking death suit. So I also see that as a potential thing for them. Like, maybe we don't want to fucking bust in here right now because this guy... There might be somebody in this house who's A-okay just fucking mowing down cops. So, like, maybe this would not be a smart move, you know?
Yeah. Augie, my favorite Augie line happens in this sequence, though.
Which is what?
Fitzgibbon is like, we want to come in, we just want to check. And he's like, no, you're not coming to my house. And Fitzgibbon says something along the lines of, like, so you're saying your son didn't do these things? And he goes, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm saying you can't come in. Yeah. And I like that. I like that, again, he's like, he's sitting there right there being like, I'm not saying my son is innocent. All I'm saying is you're not coming into my home. And I like that. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I think that's really great. I think that's a really good, well, it's also a strong, I'm going to say this to people at home. That's a very strong civil liberties thing. Like, the issue is not whether or not, like, something happened, like, I'm not weighing in on that. I'm weighing in on my constitutional right to have you not come in my fucking house.
Yes.
Like, that, I think, is the thing. So I think people at home, as we enter into the remainder of 2025 and 2026, I think should keep that in mind, is like, you don't, if cops come to your door and they go, what, you got something to hide? And you say, I don't have anything to hide, but also I know my rights. You can't come in here unless I want you to come in here. I don't want you to come in here. Yeah. So it's
You're
just,
like vampires.
Exactly. Although, obviously things are bad, so they might just come in anyway. But so the cops leave the door, but they don't leave the house. And we see the collected, we see Judomaster and Leota are watching, and then the two Vigilantes show up. And the Vigilante starts talking shit to Judomaster immediately. This is my favorite exchange, which is he goes, "What's with that symbol?" It's Vigilante 2. "What's with that symbol? It looks like somebody splashed cum on your chest." And Judomaster's like, "Why do you want to splash cum on my chest?" He's like, "I don't." It's really fucking funny.
Well, he goes, "I don't, but if I did, it would be a joke." Which is so good.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. So they have like a moment of like butting heads, but it becomes clear they're going to have to work together. And Vigilante wants to just cut through the cops and just kill everybody. And Leota's like, "Hey, what if we don't do that? Like, what if we try something else first? And what if we try to sneak in?" And they're like, "Fine." They also have a whole sequence where Vigilante's like, "Hey, which one is me and which one's alternate world me?" And it's like, you're you. Like, it's funny because it's so obvious, because the way
it's
he
so obvious,
phrases.
but I love that she's like, "You are you," and he's the alternate, and then the alternate goes, "Dude, don't feel bad. She had a 50-50 shot at that." It's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And yeah, but the two Vigilantes really vibe on the idea of killing the cops. And Judomaster's like, "Yeah, let's kill the cops."
Yeah, Judomaster's for it too. Yeah.
And finally, Leo's like, "No, let's sneak in." And they're like, "Fine." So back inside the house, we end up with a continued thing where basically Augie's trying to understand how many people came through that door. And finally they have some back and forth. They finally answer. And Augie's like, "Hey, Harcourt's like, "Why would we trust you to help us here?" And Augie's like, "I saved your life. Doesn't that have any credit?" She goes, "You saved my life by murdering a few dozen innocent people." And he's like, "Well, you haven't been here long enough to know the cops are not innocent."
Yeah, he says ACAB.
Yeah, he does say ACAB. So cops around here ain't innocent, girly, is the actual line, which I like. And he says, then Keith is like, "Is one of your friends a black woman?" And they're like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, I was just chasing her." And Augie's like, "Why the fuck were you doing that?" And Keith's like, "I thought she got out, Dad." And Augie's like, "That's not what we do." See, this is the thing. This Augie is not a Nazi. Like, is just not a Nazi.
No, and yeah, I mean, they say as much, like, because Hardcore calls him a Nazi, and he's like, "I'm not a Nazi."
Yeah, no, 100%. And Peacemaker's like, "That was my best friend. I'm not going to let anything happen to her." I was like, "I did not say anything about something happening to her. We're not going to do something to her."
Yeah.
And then when he finds out that the girl seems to have gotten away, which it seems that Keith knows from next door. Threads. Yeah, it's Threads. Yeah. Of course, James Gunn's going to put Threads in this show. Yeah, of course, the Nazi planet has Threads.
It's meta.
Although it should have been Twitter, frankly, because it's the Nazi planet. But the thing is that Gunn's on Threads. It's crazy. I don't understand why.
I have no idea.
You're on Threads, right?
I'm on there, but I don't use it.
I don't understand how anybody uses it. Like, I legitimately don't, because it just shows me random shit.
Yeah, every now and then I'll get like a thing. It's like, because whenever I post like Instagram, it automatically puts it on Threads. And every now and then I get a thing and be like, "Oh, somebody replied to your thing on Threads," and I'll hit it, and it will not show me anything about who replied to anything or anyone, and it's just random people. And I'm like,
well, that's the thing. I see a lot of times on Threads, like, because it's just you're just getting served up algorithmic shit. You're not getting served up who you're actually following. I see a lot of times where somebody will post something that would make sense to their followers, but it's getting blasted out across the universe, and people just show up and go, why are you saying this? Why are you telling us this? Why do we care?" I'm like, they don't think you do. They think they're talking to their people. Like, that's the thing. But this fucking app sucks, man. This is the worst fucking app of all time. And it's crazy to me that anybody uses it. I have a bunch of friends that use it, and all they do is argue with strangers because they're getting strangers put in their feeds.
But that's all anybody wants from social media.
I will say Blue Sky is not like that.
I see Blue Sky people arguing all the time.
Oh no, they
And,
definitely do, but
no.
it isn't the same way. It isn't like they're not like because they're not being fed posts that are intended to get people agitated, because that's not how Blue Sky works.
Yeah.
You don't see as much of that. You do see people getting mad at each other all the time. 100% happens all the time. And people on Blue Sky can be real fucking scolds. Like some of the worst people in that way are on Blue Sky.
Oh yeah. I do not understand why anyone on any social media platform ever goes to the Discover tab. Because it's basically the Discover tab is like, do you want to get pissed off at random things? Here you go.
I find that on Blue Sky that actually it works for me because I've curated a pretty good following list and it understands who I'm following and thus what I want. So I actually find a good experience in the Discover tab. I will every now and again, because Blue Sky can be slower than Twitter was. And sometimes if I really want to like look at stuff, I will go over to the Discover and I will find interesting stuff and interesting people. I don't find that much angry stuff because I think Blue Sky doesn't have a ton of like Nazis.
No, it's got scoldies.
Yeah, and that's like, but I find that stuff very funny. Like I really, there's a account called the Louvre of Blue Sky, and I kind of love.
Great.
It's really funny, like when people are like, "Children are dying right now, and you're making soup," and it's just like, "Oh my god, dude, fucking calm down." I find that hilarious, so I'm okay with it.
There was a good one from that guy yesterday that had me really laughing.
Yeah.
Because it was like such a disconnect from what was being discussed. It was like,
yeah,
what?
that's always the thing. People come in with their own weird fucking things. But Augie's like, we're gonna get all you guys home, and you're never coming here again because I'm changing the fucking keypad. Like you're not gonna be able to get in here. And then Keith's like, what? We're gonna let him go? This guy fucking killed my brother. He killed your son. And this is when Augie's like, Keith, you know what Chris is like. He's a piece of shit. I love him, but he's a piece of shit. And he has great wisdom, which is like, revenge isn't going to bring your brother back.
Yeah.
And that's really good wisdom. It's really hard to hear. That's really hard to hear in the moment. You know what I mean? And you know, the best part though is that Keith is like, you know, the drugs, the violence, but underneath that, he's all a good person. And Augie's like, yeah, maybe. But
they definitely hint at the idea that Peacemaker, which the Peacemaker we're following, also has this element to him in some aspects, but perhaps this Earth X one was worse, reveled in causing pain. You know.
Yeah, I mean, but I think the conversation that Leota had with Judomaster is it reveals that our Chris is the opposite of this Chris, because Augie's like, because she's like, deep down, when you get to know him, he's the sweetest, most amazing guy.
Yeah.
His dad is like, deep down, maybe he was. I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And credit to the characterization of Peacemaker starting with Suicide Squad. We see that from the beginning. When we're first introduced to him, he's like, you know, I'll kill every man, woman, and child to get peace.
Right.
And he's doing that. But then in his final scene in the movie, when he's standing over Ratcatcher 2, and he's going to shoot her, and he can't bring himself to shoot her. He's, you know, he can't do it after killing Rick Flag Jr., which he was ordered to do. He's following an order, right? And he doesn't want to do that either. And then throughout his whole first season, there's a whole thing of him like, I don't want to kill people anymore. I don't think it's the right thing to do. And it's continued. Obviously,
it culminates in this episode.
Still kill people.
Well, it culminates in this episode. Later on. So, but now this is when Augie gives this speech that I think is the most important part of the second season. And I think that sorry to say this, James Gunn, in a better written second season would be more prominent throughout the season.
Yeah.
And the speech that he gives, because she's like, you live in a Nazi planet. And he says, I didn't make the world like this. Like, I'm sure your world has a lot of fucking problems too. And maybe you do stop and fix or confront every single problem. Or maybe you have to pick and choose your battles. And I pick and choose my battles, and I fight the psychopaths, the monsters that are in front of me that I can deal with. And that's a thing I think about all the time.
Sure.
Because one of the things I think about all the time is we live in a world, or in a country specifically, where people are homeless. They are living on the street. They are laying on the sidewalk. And if you live in a city that has that kind of thing, you have two options. Stop and help every single person who's in that position, or you have to walk by and help when you can. So I have in the past organized soup kitchen stuff, like breakfast for the homeless. I've done that a bunch. I need to get back into that. I had to stop doing that when Brittany was sick, because it was too dangerous to bring home something to her.
Sure.
But now that that's no longer an issue, it's something I know I need to get back to. But like, you have to tackle problems in the ways that work for you. You cannot. And this was the question that was like, will Superman show up in Earth 2 or whatever? And you're like, no, Superman can't see a Nazi Earth and leave it as it is.
Leave it as it is, yeah.
But the thing is that we have to do that. We have to only tackle the problems that are in front of us. This actually goes back to the Blue Sky Scold thing, where people are like, something horrible's happening. And it's like, yeah, definitely, but I have to live. I have a life, and I can only do what I can do. I am not Superman. Like, I don't have the capability to do all of these things. And it's a really great speech, and I think it's one of those. I think the thing is that, like, I would like to have seen this be more of what's going. What?
I think there's issues with it.
What? Like what?
His whole thing, because first of all, he uses it to push back at Harcourt, where he's like, what are you doing to make your world better? Which, fair enough, but also we know the life of the Smiths on the primary Earth Prime, and we see the life of the Smiths on Earth X. They're doing a lot better. They're living in a mansion. They're
but I think
he's not using his abilities to speak out against the injustices.
So here's the deal. I mean, the piece I would like would be to now discover that actually he works with the Sons of Liberty. That would be the piece that I would like here, is that he's like an informant or whatever to the Sons of Liberty. I would like that. That would be better. But I also think that one of the reasons why they're rich, I mean, one of them, and obviously it seems like probably every white person is way better off on this earth, is my take.
Sure. Yeah.
But also, he's not a fucking psychopath.
No.
Do you know what I mean? Like, that's like one of the big problems with the Smiths on our earth, is that fucking Augie's a psychopath.
Yeah.
And he's just an absolute deep piece of shit. But I think also the thing is, like, you and I, we live certainly better lives than many other people in this country.
For sure.
We don't even live great lives, but we live better lives. And I mean, I feel like it's one of those things where, I don't know. The other piece that I think with him not speaking out that I think is going to become more and more prevalent in the coming year or so is that there's a level of danger in speaking out that is troubling. And I think not everybody's built to do that. I think some people, we're going to see in the next year here in America, some people stop.
Yeah, we're seeing it now.
We're seeing it now because the thing is, like, they don't want to have somebody fucking bust down their door, right? So, like, and that's the legitimate fear now, is that Stephen Miller is going to get on TV and say you're a terrorist and then send somebody after you.
Yeah.
And I don't 100% begrudge those people. Like, do you know what I mean?
But also, his sons are out there killing the Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, I guess. But I think
it suggests to me he did not do a very good job of telling them, like, hey, Nazis, fascism's bad. Like,
I mean,
they're supporting the system.
See, the thing that's interesting is that I think that every superhero is supporting the system, right? There's no superhero that isn't.
I'm sure I could think of one, but yeah, sure.
I'm sure that you can think of one somewhere down the road. But the general premise here is they are supporting the system. So, like, when Batman is stopping terrorists, let's say, he's supporting the system. If somebody, or Superman stops somebody from blowing up the White House, he's supporting the system. Obviously those guys don't kill. So it's a different situation.
I think that's a very big piece of it, though. Yeah.
But they're still supporting, they're still helping. And there are heroes that do kill, that would, in those situations, kill the terrorists. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that inherently all superheroes are supporting the system, and we are supporting the system ourselves. Like, every single one of us who does stuff every day, who pays taxes, whatever, we're supporting the system. So we're all implicated. The thing is, like, if somebody came to this earth and discovered, and they came from an earth where the Europeans didn't colonize everybody, and they come here and they're horrified to discover that the native peoples of the Americas don't run this country and that we do. I know, but that the natives all have been mostly shuffled off into reservations where they don't have good conditions. It's not that different from this world, and we all accept it. We all just accept it. Like, somebody could say, "What the fuck? Why are you not fixing this world?" And what's your answer? Like, are you a bad person?
No, but I also don't have sci-fi tech and millions of dollars.
Yeah, but also you do have more than other people do. That's the thing.
Yes.
Like, so I think that,
And I regularly give to different institutions that help the people that need help.
I
That's
mean,
what I do.
Augie may be
He
doing.
may,
I mean,
but it's
that's
not
a
the end of
very
the story.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it.
You
That's
know?
why I want this to be a longer story in the season. I wanted
Yes.
this to be the main story in the season. I wanted the main
Yes.
story in the season, especially because I think in the world that we're in right now, it is important to show that you can live in a bad system and be a good person and
Yes.
in your own little way try to make things better.
Yes.
And that's something that Gunn is missing out on here, because I do think that's a really vital, because it's really like, because when you see the Sons of Liberty, like, I'm not going to go blow up a DMV.
No.
Like, I don't think that's the thing to do.
I mean, it's one thing that Gunn has talked about, and I agree with him on, is like, they went in there to kill people in the DMV. How does that help anyone?
They let everybody out. They let everybody out.
No, they held that lady. They were going to
They
kill
held
that lady.
one lady.
Yeah.
They let everybody else out.
You know.
I mean, when you're an insurgent group like that, there are lines that get crossed. Do you know what I mean? Like, and there's like almost no way around it. Like, you can't have one hand tied behind
the DMV.
I know, that's the thing. I think he made that too obvious.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I think it needed to be like an army recruiting center or something. Although he probably needed to make it the DMV so that it wouldn't be so dead obvious to us that this is a Nazi planet.
Yeah.
So I think, but that's the thing. I think that's why he fucking tied his own hands behind his back. Because I think if that reveal had come earlier in the season and it wasn't saved for a big shocker in the final three, I think we could have explored this. I think we could have really explored what it means to be a person living in an oppressive system who is trying in their own way to make things different.
Make it better. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's a great theme. I think he gets there. I think he gets there sort of, but he doesn't get there enough, and he doesn't get there soon enough to make it hit.
He gets there by having Augie tell us that. Instead of showing it to us.
Exactly. That's my big problem. So, I mean, I like the conceptual aspects. I like the thematics of it. I think he's just too addicted to reveals. Do you know what I mean? Like, he saves this Augie shit till the fucking minute before Augie's killed. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I understand also why he saves it till then, because that's a good shock moment. Like, it's a very I was like, holy shit, no vigilante. Like, you know what I mean? Like, so I definitely get it. Yeah. But also at the same time, maybe you have to sacrifice some of that stuff to examine your themes better. You know?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
I don't disagree. I think if it was revealed earlier, you know, and have them all trapped in this world, you know, throughout most of the season. Don't wait until like episode 6 is when they all go there and everything goes bad. Like episode 3, they all go there and they get stuck there for whatever reason.
That's the thing. I think the middle of this season is just treading water. It's just treading. So, like, the thing is, like, I think he could. Again, this is what I talked about last episode, was that, like, he has the length of around 4 movies to work with here. And in one movie, you could get across all of the thematics and the character bits about Peacemaker and then resolve it by the end of the movie. There's no reason he couldn't have done it here.
Yeah. And the way he's talked about it, it sounds like he had ideas that would have made being on this earth much more part of the story. Where, like, he talked about how at one point Myrn was going to show up and be the head of the Sons of Liberty, and, like, you know, unless he was planning to toss that into also, like, the last 2 episodes. Like, it seems like he wanted to spend more time building out this world, and then for whatever reason was like, nah, we'll just save it. And I think
I don't understand why he did it, because I think it's a big mistake. I mean, like, last week we had argued about a little bit, lightly argued. You're like, oh, it's all character stuff. And my take is like, yeah, but, like, we could have done that character stuff faster. Like, that character stuff did not need to take 6 episodes.
No, I agree. And the problem here is now all of this to me comes across now as hollow, because we didn't get Augie character stuff until he gives a big speech in this episode, right? And it's like there's a bit where, like, we see he's nice to his kids, right? Like, okay, fine, whatever. But, like, it would have been good to see Augie, you know, in action. Like, have the Sons of Liberty attacking the DMV, have Peacemaker go in there and kill all of them, have Captain Triumph, Keith, show up and go to take out the helicopter, but show Augie saving somebody or, like, stopping someone from getting killed and be like, no, that's not how we do things. Right?
Well, you could have had them come back to the house after and Augie be like, Chris, what are you doing? Like, obviously you needed to stop those people, but, like, you fucking massacred everybody.
Yeah.
And that even
Yeah.
like even
And
that
Keith,
would
you blew up a helicopter that landed in the middle of the street where people around. You're not being careful. You're not doing the right
yeah,
thing.
and that's the thing. I think
Yeah.
that actually would have actually helped story wise. Not even like you don't have to reveal anything. It just becomes this thing where like, oh no, Augie in this universe is a good dude. Like that would have had that allowed us to know that earlier. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, oh, Augie here is a good guy. Like,
Yeah.
he's a decent guy, and in fact, he doesn't like how violent the kids can get. You know,
Yes.
like he understands sometimes you got to do it. Like, we don't have a no kill promise, but like, this was you. I mean, like, you know,
could have
Chris,
done
you
this without killing
fucking
everyone.
yeah, you killed everybody. You
You
didn't
stabbed
need
the
to
guy
do that.
in the head with pencils.
Yeah,
That's
like you didn't need to
unnecessary.
do that. It was unnecessary. And I think that would actually only feed into Chris's desire to live in this world.
Yes.
And so I think you're right. That's a really huge missed opportunity because when Chris is like, "Oh my God, my dad is nice, and I'm not supposed to kill people," which has been my whole fucking mission. This is my perfect Earth.
Yes.
So, so he gives this speech. I mean, again, I think it's a good speech. It's too little, too late, as we've just said. But I like this because it does speak to sort of the scolders out there. Like, okay, well, so what are you doing? Like, we're all doing what we can. Like, you know, and maybe it's not enough for you what I'm doing, but like, it's what I can do. And so then
I do want Hardcore to be like, on my Earth, I saved the planet when a giant starfish was going to destroy everything, and our boss told us to let it, and we knocked her out and made sure that the world got saved. But that's fine.
I mean, we can assume that these guys might have done that same kind of shit. They took down the kaiju, you know what I mean? Like, we can assume these guys probably have done similar things. Like, I don't know if Starro's happening out there, but maybe the butterfly thing did happen, and they totally saved the world.
Yeah, but
you know what I mean?
it's just because he says that it was like what have you done to make the world better? It's like, well, I've stopped now 2 alien invasions.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I think that's interesting, and the Gunn talked about this in the podcast, was that Harcourt and Economos are deeply entwined in the bad system.
Yeah.
So the question is, like, did doing these 2 things make up for... I mean, we can assume Harcourt has done terrible things.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, both of them. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like they're clear conscience, but like, it is funny they've done 2 things that saved the world.
Yeah.
And even in season 1, it's a question of, did you really save the world? Because the Butterfly's goal was to take over their government and stop, like, the destruction of the planet, you know?
Right,
so,
right. So as Augie's giving his speech, he positions himself to get killed, and a vigilante jumps into the backyard, and Chris sees him through the window, and before he can even say something, he has this horrified look on his face. Before he can even say something, vigilante jumps through the window, grabs Augie around the neck, and stabs him in the back of the head about a dozen times.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
And it is fucked up. I honestly yelled out loud at that moment.
Yeah.
Like, it was and the thing was, like, I love Vigilante. I hate that he did this, but also, like, in terms of character and writing and stuff, there's nothing else he would do. This is 100%
Oh,
what he would do.
100%.
There's no world where he grabs...
I'd like to say that I came up with this, but I didn't. I read this, I think it was on Reddit, somebody said it was like, in season 1, Vigilante gets himself arrested so he can go and kill Augie, and he fails. He chickens out, and he doesn't do it. And then at the end of the season, Chris is forced to kill his own father.
Yeah.
And for Vigilante, he's seen a moment here, it's like, they're having a standoff. I have to stop my friend from having to kill his father again.
I mean, that might come up next episode.
Yeah.
That might come up next episode, because Chris is obviously very fucking mad at Vigilante for killing his good version of his father.
I don't think he is mad at him.
Well, I don't know if he's mad, but I think he obviously blames himself, but I also think that that's just the kind of thing that maybe he needs to hear that. Do you know what I mean? Like, for why that happened. Once the cops outside hear this commotion because Keith opens fire on the 2 vigilantes, the cops come busting in the door. Like, this is we now have cause to go in there. Yeah. And Chris is yelling, he wasn't a Nazi. Keith is crying over Augie's dead body. They run towards the library to get the fuck out of there. And Economos is still tied to the chair, and they have to drag him. And the 2 vigilantes are like, oh, it's time to go kill some fucking cops. And so they just walk down the hall, like, out in the open, ready to open fire on these cops as soon as they come through the door. And it's kind of great. I kind of love it. Like, I love the 2 vigilantes. I love that they're very smoothly working together.
You want a Judomaster show. I want a Vigilante show where they have an apartment together. and like they tell everyone they're like a really violent Patty Duke show is what I'd like to see. You know, and Judomaster can be their neighbor. I guess that'd be cool. That'd be fun.
I mean, that would work.
Yeah.
One of the I think our Adrian takes a gunshot to the back. My assumption here is that his suit is bulletproof.
That would be my guess. Yeah.
I mean, he still gets hurt. Like when you get shot
Yes.
in a bulletproof suit, it still fucking hurts like crazy.
Yeah.
It is like getting hit with a sledgehammer. So like, there's not like a no damage, but it's just not, the bullet is not tearing through your body.
Yeah.
So Adrian too holds down the bad guys as they, in the library, they begin getting ready to go through the door. And they're going to go through the door, and all of a sudden Keith comes blowing through the wall and attacks Peacemaker, who starts trying to explain. And then once again, like the other time this season, Chris just sits there and takes the beating.
Yes.
He just sits there and takes it. He's like, you know what? Okay,
He's
like,
not gonna
I
fight
deserve
back.
this. I'm not going to fight back. And in a moment, it's funny. I think that Gunn made a lot of writing mistakes this season, but this is not one of them, which is that as Chris is willing to take the punches, his friends are unwilling to let him get killed. And so they jump into action. And I think that that's really good writing.
It's great. No, that's great. And it's funny because it is a mirror to the end of Thunderbolts, where they stop him from beating himself.
Yeah.
They are stopping Chris from allowing himself to be beaten to death.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, it's also like this crystallization of these people care about him this much.
Yeah.
And so they're on, so like, I think in terms of like arcs, these characters have all fulfilled their arc as a team. And Chris is the one who's also has his own arc, and they've ended up at opposite ends, even though they're still friends and whatever, but Chris believes he needs to be punished. The friends believe they need to save him. And,
Even
so,
Judomaster is helping.
Even Judomaster's helping. So Eagly actually is the first one that jumps in, and then that makes everybody really get involved. And Vigilante once again steps in with that fucking knife.
Stabs him in the back a couple of times.
And Chris is horrified, and he has this scream. There's no world where John Cena wins an Emmy, but like
He fucking deserves one.
I mean, this is
At
amazing.
least a nomination. I mean, he's been really good this season.
This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. And so he's like, get off him, get off him. And it's like heartbreaking. It's like a really heartbreaking moment where he watches. And then like, we get like a little on the nose where we flash back to Chris killing Keith
brother.
as kids. But also I get it. Like you're playing to like the lowest common denominator in the audience
Also, it's been
in many
3
ways.
years since the
It's been 3 years since we saw that. Yes.
Because when that did happen, I was like, I don't know if we needed that. And I was like, well, I rewatched the season before this season started. Chances are a lot of people didn't.
Yeah.
So,
Chris yells something out here I think is really interesting. It's, what the fuck is wrong with all of us?
Yes.
And that, I feel like this has been a 2-season long story getting characters to be superheroes.
Yes.
Or follow that superhero code. Like, I think Chris is at that superhero code by the end of this episode. Like, the no-kill policy. I think by this moment where... And, you know, he's right, because, like, what's wrong with us that our first instinct is to fucking kill this guy?
Kill. Yeah.
Like, it's not like to take him out, not to, like, bind him. It's to immediately kill him.
Just murder
and
him.
Just murder him. And, like, everybody except Leota is on that train. You know what I mean? Like...
But even Leota's on that train.
Well, she is technically...
She started her own little company to like do security and assassinations.
I guess. I
She
don't know.
wants to be on that train. It's a question of could she do it?
So Chris is really upset. He's crying. He's apologizing to Keith, who is dying very slowly. And Keith is like, Chris is like, I'm so fucking sorry. Your world's not bad. My world's not bad. I'm bad. It's me.
Yeah.
That's the comment. And then we flash back through all the people that he killed, including his dad and Rick Flag Jr. And he realizes, I'm the common denominator. I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem, as Taylor Swift might say. This like breaks him. He's like, oh, I'm a bad person. I found this very intense because this has been a thing I struggle with. The idea that I am inherently a bad and destructive person, and that to be around me is to be harmed. And so I found this very powerful because I totally understand where Chris is coming from here. Like, fundamentally, I get it. Like, oh yeah, no, I'm bad. Like, I'm I hurt people, I destroy things, I ruin stuff. That's just who I am. I can't help that. And not like in a, oh, well, I can't help it, oh well, but like in a, I probably need to be like living in a cave kind of thing, which is essentially where Chris ends up, because he's very happy to go to prison at the end of this episode. And so the characters all kind of stand around while other vigilantes holding off the cops, and then they all realize, they all have this moment like, ah, shit, we really did fuck this up, didn't we? We fucked this up pretty bad. And Leota, as the best friend, comes over and is like, Chris, you're not bad. Or she didn't say that, but like she gives him, and we see her carrying him through the quantum unfolding chamber back to our world. Everybody's running, and we cut back to the two vigilantes, and Hug gives her a hug because the one vigilante, our vigilante, has to go home, and they do this wave goodbye. That's really cute. And Harcourt standing over Keith as Keith is gasping for breath, and she says to Vigilante 2, "Give me your gun." And in the moment, I was like, is this a kindness? Because he's dying. Like, he's going to die. And, like, does this become the other side of the don't kill thing? Like, where it's just like, rather than let him suffocate to death, which is what's happening to him right there. His lungs are filling with blood. He can't get a breath. She's going to put him out of his misery. And I did wonder if she was going to point the gun at him and he was going to say, do it. Like, end me. Like, please. But no, she says, I can't let you live, because if you live, you might come after him, and I can't let you come after him.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful moment.
And then the cops break through, and she doesn't do it, and she ends up going through the portal, and Vigilante does a spin kick to close the door, which I really fucking like. Cool. I liked it a fucking lot. Like, it was really, it's like one of my favorite bits. Because he's just like such flair, like over the top flair. Like, he can't help himself. And Vigilante 1 picks her up and helps her through the quantum unfolding chamber. Like, he wasn't going to leave that door until she came through, is what it seems like. Yeah. Then we cut to the outside. They've found their way to Vigilante's mom's house, and they cut to the outside. Vigilante's mom's like, why are all these cops on my front lawn? And our heroes come running through, and at first I was like, how are they going to keep the cops from finding all this coke and money? Like, this is going to fuck everybody's shit up. And I guess the deal is that Argus doesn't... Well, I guess Argus doesn't care, right? That's the thing. Argus doesn't care. They just want to we cut back to Keith being put on a gurney, and he's getting worked on by paramedics, and we get a look in his eye where it's like, oh, Amelia was right. He's gonna come after Chris. Yeah. Gunn makes it sound like that was a decision late in the process, and that he did not intend to set up a cliffhanger for this. Yeah. But I think it's a good cliffhanger. It's a good thread to leave, because if they ever want to revisit it, it's a strong comic book story. My evil brother from another dimension is after me. Like, that's a strong.
In my reality, I accidentally killed my brother. In this other reality, I killed myself, and my brother is looking to get revenge. Yeah, and I feel like I should let him get revenge because I killed him.
Yeah, it's a pretty good story to continue playing out. And I think it's a really good supervillain story, because I think it's one of those things where you can understand where Keith is coming from, but unlike some other supervillains who have a good point, you kind of can't condone what he's doing. Sure. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, you could say, Keith, I get it, but like, you got to let this shit go, bro. So he's left alive, and the 11th Street kids come out of the house to the assembled Argus forces, and Peacemaker drops the device. I thought it was very funny they didn't just shoot him, because he has a weird fucking thing in his hand. Like, I'm not convinced they know what the device looks like. Yeah. So like, is this a bomb? He's just gonna throw it at our feet? But they don't. Judomaster does cross the line to go back with Argus, which I thought was interesting. And they arrest Chris, and they let everybody else go.
To be clear, he crosses the line, goes on to the Argus side, and then when Chris says, they all came to get me, to convince me to give you the device, they had nothing to do with it, and Rick Flag Sr. says, is that true, Rip? And Judomaster says, yes. Like Peacemaker looks at him like, please don't let my friends pay for my mistakes. And Judomaster goes, yeah, that's what happened. So Judomaster is back on the Argus side, but he's still helping them, which I think is very interesting.
Yeah. I do think it's funny that Vigilante is covered in guns. And they're like, let this guy go. I mean, I get it. That's not Argus's thing.
I still have an issue with Argus not knowing who Vigilante is. that they don't know his identity. I find that hard to believe.
I think they don't care.
I think post season 1, it would have been in like Harcourt's debriefing of what happened. She'd be like, and this guy Vigilante helped us, and they'd be like, who the hell's Vigilante? And she would.
I mean, I can see Harcourt saying, I don't know. He never took his mask off.
Yeah, maybe Economos would reveal. I don't know, but like.
I think Economos likes Vigilante. That was the whole thing where the Vigilante was calling him every day while Economos was out of town. I think that Economos. I think none of these guys would betray Vigilante unless. I think Economos might if he had to. Sure. Like if he felt like it was a problem, but I think just in general, I don't think he would. So I also think Argus probably doesn't care that much about some guy who happens to have some guns. That's a local cop or an FBI problem.
Who kills spray painters.
Spray painters, yeah. I mean, like, so I think that's a local cop or an FBI problem. I mean, that's why they let him go, because they don't give a shit about this guy covered in fucking automatic weaponry. They're like, yeah, whatever, not our problem, man. Not our problem. I mean, it's like one of those things, like when a cop on a murder case will tell a drug dealer or a prostitute, like, listen, I don't care about what you're doing. I care about this thing. So they don't, and then I think a good cop, if such a thing existed, would then not go file a report and be like, by the way, this woman is selling her body over here. They would just go let it go because they need that contact, you know?
Yeah.
And Chris gets put into the back of a cop car. They drive away with him. He looks pretty content. And that is the end of the episode. What'd you think of this one?
I think it's okay. I as we already discussed, I feel like a lot of this should have been formulating earlier. That the reveal of the Nazi Earth should have come sooner, so that we could spend more time with everyone there, you know, in this reality, and seeing how different things can be, and like how they're all affected by it. And I still think overall, playing on the concept of, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, and that not being true because you are still who you are. Making it a Nazi world is too on the nose. Like it, and to make it a Nazi world and then the next episode have the biggest white supremacist of the series be like, I mean, look, I'm not a Nazi, I'm not a bad guy. And I know it's a different version of him and stuff. You need to build those things earlier and more thoroughly.
Yeah.
And I don't think this does a good job of that.
That's
like,
the thing,
feels like he was like, oh, I'm going to put him on Nazi world. Why? I don't know. Like, it's fine.
I mean, no, I think that those themes are probably what wanted him to do it. I think when he was writing the season, he just blew it, like in terms of like how he paced it out. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I think those themes, if we had taken maybe 1 or 2 episodes that where there was wheel spinning and taken those away and put our characters into these situations and had them have realizations about not everybody here's bad, and also the grass isn't always greener, and like have those play out more, I think it would have been much more satisfying. I think the problem is he just, for whatever, I don't know if it's budget, I can't imagine the Nazi world costs that much, but for whatever reason, the decision was made to like really keep us in the dark, even though a lot of people figured it out pretty early, about what the real true nature of that world was. And it's, again, I think it's just an addiction to reveals in this case. That's why the Augie.
But he's not really a reveal guy, though,
I know, right? But I think in this story he got really addicted to the idea of revealing. Like I think he thought that that'd be fun. You know what I mean? Like that would be really great to do. Like, oh, let's do a bunch of reveals here. So I think that is what happened. Is my take on it. Or maybe there was a budget reason they needed to fucking spend 2 episodes doing nothing, rehashing all the conversations.
I mean, we don't. Who knows what's? And also, we don't know if this world is going to show up again in the next episode. There's 1 more episode left. We don't know exactly what's going to happen. You know.
Yeah, but everything on that world is wrapped up as far as our characters are concerned.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that's the thing. There's no reason to go back to that Earth next episode. I can't. I mean, they might. But, like, I don't really know. Although, next episode, it looks like Argus is going to open every single door in the quantum unfolding chamber. So, I guess maybe it's
just going to be that. The whole episode is just them opening doors, being like, look what's in here. What could have been the season?
It's going to be like the end of
Candyland.
It's going to be like the end of The Flash, where they're going to open doors and there's going to be, like, a reanimated Adam West CGI behind one.
He's like, kill me. Kill me, chum.
Oh man. So yeah, I agree. I like the episode. I thought it's the best episode of the season. I think because the most happens and stuff, and I think it really moves things along. And there's good character, but I think that bit at the end with Chris screaming alone elevates this to like my favorite episode of the season. I think.
I mean that was an amazing moment.
There's like really good emotion. You know what I mean?
Like you could have given me an episode of two vigilantes, Adebayo and Judomaster running around. And we got 30 seconds of that. And it's like, oh, give me that. Like,
yeah. Again, I really don't understand why. And they were really insistent on and the thing is that it was reveal based because he was insistent on holding back 3 episodes from the press.
Yeah.
So I mean that's the thing. Like, and I think
also, I mean, if there's not a big cameo in the next episode, he really overplayed the cameo stuff as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be Luthor again, right?
If there is, who knows? Who knows? I haven't seen the episode.
But I'm saying, like, it's got to. Like, if he keeps talking about how next episode is so important for the DCU. He pitched this end of this episode to Zaslav about like what his direction of the DCU was going to be.
Yeah.
So I imagine it, and it's also this walks directly into Man of Tomorrow. So I imagine Lex has got to show up next episode. I can't imagine he doesn't. And they already had him, so they probably just shot 2 scenes to get together with Nicholas Hoult when he had an off day from Superman.
Sure, yeah.
You know, like that just makes sense. Like there's plenty of space to do that. So I don't know. I guess we'll find out in a couple of days what the deal is.
I agree, Gus. I don't know if everyone else can hear that, but Gus was meowing.
He's upset because the door to the room is closed and he wants to get out of the room. But I need to keep it closed. So anyway, that's this week's episode. Come join us again next week as we cover the finale. This episode was long, partially because of all of our technical difficulties, but also I think we had a lot to talk about. So, this is a long recap. Longer than we usually do a recap. I suspect next week's probably will be longer too. Look at this guy crying in the background. All right, I'm gonna have to go feed that guy. Come join, if you're listening to this or watching this, come join us on the Patreon at www.patreon.com/cinemasangha, SANGHA, where you can subscribe at the $1 or above level to get our other podcast, The Bad Batch, or the $5 and above level to get our other podcast, Watchmen, which is a monthly superhero podcast. Our next episode is going to be, we're doing Creepshow.
Yeah.
It looks like that one handily on the...
Yeah.
I was a little bit hoping we were going to get Tales from the Crypt 72. That was my big hope.
Yeah.
Because I think what's fun about Tales from the Crypt 72 is they just directly adapt stories. So we could have like read those stories and then talked. You know what I mean? Like it's a nice. You know what I mean? Like the Tales from the Crypt TV show did that a lot too. They would sometimes directly adapt stories, not always, but I think that's a fun thing. You know what I mean? Like in an anthology, you have 5 stories, and then you have 5 little stories. I'm sure we could find them online where to read those, and
sure.
It would have been cool. But the people have spoken. It's Creepshow, and it's a movie both you and I like, right? So that's nice.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah, so come join us as we talk about that. We will see you guys again next week. Until then, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be safe, may you be well, but most of all, may you remain a true believer.